Good morning. We are live from the Hive. I hope everybody can hear me. It's Bree. Hi. Sorry if it's echoey in here. This is my first time doing live from the Hive from this new bedroom. Why is my hair still behind my ear from when I was doing my makeup? My face is dark over here too, and I have to figure out something different with the lighting. But good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that I am seeing so many friendly faces out there in the live chat. Let me know if you can hear me and if I sound all right. Again, I apologize if it's echoey. All right, thank you, Julie. Let me say hi to everybody first and foremost, Julie. So thank you, Julie, and hello and welcome to Live from the Hive. Yeah, so we actually have a hive now. Not last weekend. I was out on the back porch here talking and doing Live from the Hive, kind of an impromptu. I don't have my OBS back yet, but that is coming, and then we'll get all the fun stuff that I've spent years working on to make this channel what it is. But in the meantime, we'll persevere and we'll continue on with what we have, because I don't need anything besides my camera, a little bit of knowledge, and your presence. So thank you for showing up, Greg Hartwick, Junk Shop Library. Oh my gosh, Junk Shop, it's been a minute. Greg, much love. We got Rain here, and we got Tobin. The gang's all here. McKinnon Mitchell, it's good to see ya. Bonjour. And we have D Parks. We have, look at the trees. Oh goodness, we have Jaded Atheist, Pale Blue Mama. Good morning, Amanda. Me and Amanda are working on stuff in the background too, so if you've missed Pale Blue Mama's presence, she will have something new out for you soon. No worries. Cosmic Kyle, good morning, everybody. Sandy's here. Oh goodness, so much love to everybody out there for showing up and participating with Live from the Hive. So I start my show with a little bit of housekeeping. So yeah, this is going to be the new Hive. I think we're probably going to be over there, though. We're not going to be here. This is like on my dresser. I have this chair just sitting for my dresser set up. That's how I've been going to other people's streams too lately. But the Hive will be over here with the backdrop. So that in mind, stay tuned for developments as things move along. Yes, partners in crime, Amanda, absolutely. Partners in science. So this is the new place. It's a nice room. I got 3 closets behind me. So I'm not complaining about that. I'm not complaining about the state of my living right now at all. I'm grateful that this was something that Ian's family, or his girlfriend's family, kind of helped us out with, because we were kind of in a tight situation, because we were living over in Missouri and he was registered for school over here to graduate early to senior year. So we had to get over here before last Wednesday, and we actually managed to pull it off, and I couldn't believe it. And we found a place that's pretty decent. This is an apartment. I was totally against it, getting an apartment from the beginning, but this isn't too bad. It's actually it's a converted house, so I'm not complaining. I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm happy to have a roof over my head, roof over my kids' head is the main thing. So with that being said, yeah, I am free to decorate this this hive however I want. I did create a hive wish list on Amazon. I don't even have the link for it. I meant to have that ready. I am sorry. I will see about getting that in the video description if anybody's interested in helping us get this place off the ground and moving, because we are dealing with completely different schematics of the layout and everything than what we had before. I'm probably not going to do the bug shelves behind me like I did. I probably won't be able to. I might. I don't know. We'll see what the layout of this room. Very, very simple. It's a big square. So we'll see what happens. Yes, and I will share that link. You see Godless Scummer is here. Oh, Jeff, good to see you. You're going to love this apologist I have later on. Or not apologist, I don't know what to call this guy. But he made a new video just within the last 8 hours. So we're going to tackle that for sure. And And that's something I've been looking forward to talking about all since I found the guy, because it was an interesting engagement, interesting to say the least. But I don't want to jump right into that before we do our standard stuff. So with house cleaning out of the way, which was actually pretty short. I'm surprised how short we got the housekeeping done. We have to do Cryptic Corner. And we're going to pretend all the intro stuff goes. Cryptic Corner, broad. You got the purple background with the smoke and all the figures appearing. That's what I can't wait to get back to. I love my channel transitions and art. I do. So we'll get back to Cryptic Corner in its full glory soon. But in the meantime, we're gonna make this work. We're going to talk about a topic, another one that's been kind of on my back burner for a bit, because I was waiting for something to happen in the area, but nothing. You know, it's kind of, when it comes to this stuff, you can't predict what's going to happen when. What we are talking about today is something that I actually poked Dr. Ben about a little bit because I wanted to get some insight about it. We're going to be talking about alien implants. Now, what is an alien implant? Let's go out and just to get a rudimentary understanding, we're going to go out to Wikipedia and we're going to just read their brief little synopsis at the beginning of the top section. It says, in ufology, alien implant is a term used to describe physical objects allegedly placed in someone's body after they've been abducted by aliens. Claimed capabilities of the implants range from telepresence to mind control to biotelemetry, or I guess that'd be biotelemetry. Telemetry? Seems like it'd be biotelemetry, but to me, but anyway, the latter akin to human tagging wild animals for study. As with UFO subjects in general, the idea of alien implants has seen very little attention in mainstream science. And obviously there's a good reason for that because, well, we'll get into it. No spoilers yet. Okay, so first things first, when you talk about alien implants in general, specifically in the last 10 years or so, one name comes up again and again. His name is Dr. Roger Leir. Now, Dr. Roger Leir is the alien implant surgeon, is his nickname. And he's wrote a book called The Alien and the Scalpel. He's been on Coast to Coast AM. If you're familiar with, if you're like me and you follow all this nerdy stuff, you're familiar with Coast to Coast AM and how that goes down. He also had a part in the documentary that recently, when I say recently, 2017, so within the last 10 years, that recently was made about, this was the last big media boost about alien implants called Patient 17. We're going to get all into that too as well as we move along here. But first, let's learn a little bit about our friend, Mr. Roger Leir. We check my chat, make sure everybody's on board and keeping up with me so far. Okay, yeah, and Ian Davenport showed up. Good to see you. Good to see you. And everybody's having fun. Junk shop's being filthy, I hear. I wonder what that's all about. But I have to focus on my show, so you guys quit being naughty in the chat because keep being naughty in the chat. All right, so and I'll read the little blurb about him too. Roger Creven Leir was an American podiatric, or how do you say it? Podiatric, I guess. He's a podiatric surgeon, and ufologist, best known as an investigator of alleged alien implants. Leir wrote books such as The Alien and the Scalpel, and appeared in various radio and television shows. Gives us the Coast to Coast AM drop there, claiming he discovered proof of non-terrestrial experimentation on man. So, Leir, he was a real doctor. He that's not a Not something that he's claiming. He's not like some of the other fake doctors that we talk about on the show. Talking to you, Dr. Dino. But this guy's a real doctor, real podiatrist, surgeon. So he does know what he's doing. So in 1995, this guy, he's as well as being a doctor, he's like aliens and stuff. So I mean, to hear him talk about his backstory, it's always been an interest to him. So he went to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network meeting or conference that they had in 1995. And just to give you a timetable, I was 12 in 1995. So I think Amanda was 14, Junk Shop was 12 too. So yeah, back when we were that age. He examined some X-rays offered to him from an abductee of an implant that she claimed to have had. He went on to extract those implants. I say implants because that's what they called them. That's what the woman called them. That's what Lear called them. But we're gonna explore that. Where was I? Okay, yeah, he ended up extracting two small metallic foreign objects from her and from another individual. They had the objects analyzed by the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology. And they did determine that the compounds were compounds commonly found on Earth. Nothing fantastic about them. People get foreign bodies lodged under their skin all the time. Your body absorbs it and kind of sometimes wraps it in like a cyst. But we'll get back to that too. So they found these objects inside of this woman's body, mostly composed of iron and aluminum. In describing some of these elements, though, the lab made a innocent but very impactful claim when I shouldn't say claim because it wasn't a claim. When they made reference to the composition of a meteor. So in the papers, or the papers that were released about the analysis of this foreign body, they mentioned something about the composition of a meteor, and our friend Dr. Lear kind of ran with that and said, "Oh, that means that the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology says that this is an alien implant or from extraterrestrial origins." That was not the case at all. They were just mentioning the composition of meteoric iron versus the composition of our Earth iron, and how we are examining these little tiny molecules and trying to make sense of their origins. And yeah, we do have to take meteoric iron into consideration when we're looking at anything that contains iron and it's foreign. That's not out of the question to say, hey, so this doesn't, these features or these compositions match meteoric iron or these ones don't. It's going to come up. But this didn't detour Lear from running with that and just going with it. He thought that they were proof that we have physical evidence of alien implants now. Let's move forward with that as the current understanding. But at this point, he kind of, from 1995 on, he just kind of got bigger and bigger in the UFO community. Now, it was not without scrutiny. There's been he's had some real critics. And just to be clear, our friend Dr. Lear died in 2014, so he will not be able to put out any more content on his alien implant or alien implant removal surgeries. But we can look back at the body of work he left behind, and that's what we're going to do today. So he's removed things that he claims emit radio waves, have magnetic properties, or have crystals inside of them. All these wild claims about what these objects are that he's removing from these people's bodies, usually in the extremities, like the feet or the hands, arms, knees, shins, things like that. Stuff that you might also notice is also where foreign bodies get lodged during day-to-day life, when you're handling things, and when you have a fall, when you run something into your hand, things like that. You get foreign objects under your skin that are detectable by medical equipment, including X-rays and scans and things. So, but any other examination of these foreign objects that have taken place, or just because no one's really been able to get them under the microscope. Lear's associate Daryl Sims, who's kind of helps. He's like they're like a partnership in working with this with this claim. They've refused examination of the other objects, but for the most part, what we see when we look at them are things like little bits of metal, little bits of glass are the most common. So metal and glass. Again, what are the most common things that you get under your skin besides maybe wood, metal, and glass? But one woman had a crystal in her foot, and I'm going to say that was a piece of glass. Anyway, so there was his book, The Alien and the Scalpel. The second book was a case book, Alien Implant, that was published in 2000. Let's see. I want to make sure to be given a fair shake. So if anybody wants to look at his actual claims, they can go and read these books. Alien and Scalpel, 1999. Casebook, Alien Implants, 2000. We had The Smoking Gun, which was an article published in 2014 in UNX News Magazine. So if you want to read what Dr. Lear has to say out there about the subject of alien implants, you can definitely go out and have a look at that. Okay, so moving on, we are actually going to, I had the IMDb page pulled up for the patient 17. I want to watch that real quick. I hope you guys are okay with that. We're just going to watch the trailer real quick. I haven't watched the movie. I've watched clips of it, what I could get for free, because right now I'm just moving in. So we are going to. There we are. Okay, so let's.
This mystery is kind of like a musical.
Oh, hold on. Y'all are probably getting the echo. Just a moment. Let me make sure to remove the echo. Oh, I always forget to check that little box. Maybe. Let me know if there's an echo.
Composition. If you're missing a note or two, you probably wouldn't be able to make sense of it all.
I was recently introduced to a surgeon who claims to remove implants, nanotechnology microchips embedded by aliens, non-humans monitoring our Earth. He talked about abductions, scalar wave transmissions, and a program to study or manipulate the human race. I was eager to verify the authenticity of this alleged off-world implant technology.
Sorry, content warning. I did not realize that the trailer was going to have open surgical incisions. Is there more than one trailer? Patient 17.
Dr. Roger Lear did confirm I was going to be patient number 17.
So you're going to get this thing out?
That's what he's telling me.
And what did you know of Dr. Lear before?
Absolutely nothing. I knew nothing about Dr. Lear until I was introduced.
Would you consider your life to have been completely normal up until the point where you've engaged these people interested in your story?
My life has been normal, but it did get thrown into a storm once I met these UFO folks. When Dr. Lear and his associates told me that this could be an implant, now it's all been brought back up to the surface. I'm wondering what I'm going to see in the shadows, or is there missing time? This is scarier than hell.
See, it almost comes across like they're telling this guy that this foreign body in his person is an implant, more so than what he thinks that it is, or he feels that it is. I mean, could you imagine going to a doctor, getting contacted or whatever by a doctor, a surgeon, and they're like, "Yeah, I'd like to help you get this foreign body out of your, wherever it is, your leg, your hip, the back of your neck." Some of these have it like right at the base of the skull. That's like one of the most popular places that they claim to have, is like behind the ears and stuff. And then they're like, because we think it might be an extraterrestrial implant. Could you imagine going to a doctor and getting that news? I mean, not call it news, but getting that claim.
So you met Dr. Lear. Do you trust him?
I don't trust anybody in today's world. I just want all this to end. I just want it removed. I don't have to worry about a piece of metal floating around in my body.
Oh, we go surgery again. Sorry, guys.
I'll tell you the truth. That's why I'm doing this documentary, is to really find out what's happening. Just finding the truth.
All right, we're going to stop right there because it keeps showing open surgery, and I don't know that my audience is prepared for that. I know I do have some people in here who might be troubled by such imagery, so I'm not gonna show any more of the trailers for this, because it seems to be that they're using that in every one. But that's the gist of Patient 17. He's just as far as I can tell, Patient 17 is just a normal guy. The cinematography looks good on it. But the claims made in it about the object, it's and you hear the patient talking. It doesn't sound like he's very confident that what he's dealing with is an alien implant. But that is the tale of Patient 17. What do we have here? Had some different stuff set up. Here's some interviews and things I was reading just for research. Here's our Dr. Lear. The reason I kept this up was for this specifically. So this is the size and schematics of the alleged implant that he's finding in people, the implants. Some of them are crystal glass, pieces of glass. Some of them are metal. But he makes some assertions about them that don't seem to have been backed up by evidence, at least nothing that's been examined about them producing magnetism, about them being producing radio waves. It's back your claims, friend. Don't when other labs want to examine your findings, you don't refuse access to them. That looks suspicious, right? All right, so moving on to, I have a couple little alien implant videos. They are going to be kind of touch and go though, so we will see how much of them I'm going to play, because they are by like different. Not that one. There we go. Okay, the first one you might recognize. You might recognize this guy, and not just from the thumbnail. So we're gonna first and foremost, now that we're moving away from Dr. Lear, now we've kind of laid the groundwork for what alien implants are all about. we are going to share this little clip from,
and we're going to bring them to the electron microscope capable of extreme magnification. So we're going to have an expert look at them and get a really close look at them, see what they're made of.
So Joe Rogan, of all people, this is the Joe Rogan questions everything.
Joe.
Arun Kumar, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Arun Kumar. Arun Kumar, glad to meet you.
Dr. Kumar, what exactly is going on here?
We place the sample in the electron microscope, then turn on an electron beam.
That's amazing. How close are you looking right there?
And this was from about 5 months ago.
3,500. That is so badass.
Well, we'll see what it comes out.
Has anybody ever brought you something to analyze that may or may not have come from an alien?
Yes, sir. We have done some from Roswell, New Mexico.
They examined some of the Roswell finds.
That's the holy grail. What do you think happened in Roswell, if you had to guess?
Well, right now we haven't gotten any positive samples that I can tell you what happened, so I have no idea.
Wow. Look at that.
Look at the honesty.
So now she can zoom in.
What the heck is that?
That kid snorted a Death Star. That's amazing.
That looks like a piece of molten
You can see the elements coming up.
magnesium that beaded.
75%
Is
gold,
it burned?
4%
Crackles?
silver.
Kid sneezes money.
Should be a rap video.
Silver.
But how it got there, we don't have a clue.
In all of your experience working here, have you ever known of a orb like that to come out of a human body?
Not anything that shape and composition.
If I was an alien, I'd leave little sharp pieces of metal around people's house so that they would actually step on the implant. And then,
Alien, you big. It's very, very interesting stuff. I really, really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So that was the alien implant episode from Joe Rogan back in March.
Is that analyzed?
No, we have not had this analyzed. We'd like to have it looked at.
So what you're saying essentially is that you only want facts. You're open-minded about all this, but you just want what is provable, period.
So that was, I don't see why what they're looking at. Yes, I'll find my wish list. I will. Yes, I can do that. You guys are so sweet. There's not much on it yet. I haven't really added too much to it. So we shall see. Now, a Scapegoat here. Hey, Scapegoat. Good to see you. Now, this object that they're looking at, does it look mechanical in any way? Does it look like it has a function, or does it look like it's just a solid little piece of, when the metal's cool, they bead together like that. So what I'm seeing is, instead of silver, which I guess makes sense, but the part where they're like, oh, it's the Death Star, because that flat spot on it, that would have been what was sitting like down, like that would have been on the flat surface when the metal cooled and beaded. What I wonder is if maybe it got blown, like maybe in a shop of some kind. I don't know if this was in a kid, but it got, like, when you're cleaning up the shop, like a jewelry shop, for instance, and you got solder on the, because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like a solder bead. And when you blow that around and someone maybe inhales it, or it gets lodged under someone's skin because it's air. That's why they say not to, when you have an air gun in your shop, you're not supposed to use it to blow yourself off, because it'll blow things into your skin. Like it'll blow, grains of sand, splinters. It also could blow little bits of metal into your skin. So that kind of thing happens when you work in a shop, or when you don't have to work in a shop. Just to be present when someone's doing that. And that'll end up happening to you. I had to get one removed out of my eye from someone who was on the other side of a wall. We had this little communication window down below where we could talk. I worked in a factory at the time because I was in school, and they were blowing their shelf off when I was working on the other side, and it went right into my eye, and I had to go get it removed. So yeah, this kind of, and that was magnesium, and it looked a lot like that. And mine was more, it was ironically mine was more bullet shaped, but same difference, had the flat side to it and everything. Removed from my eye by an optometrist. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I got it in there. They took me to one of the people at work, took me to the eye doctor. They went in there with their little tweezers and they pulled it out and put whatever that sealant stuff they have, the optometrist have, that they put over it, like a liquid bandage or whatever. Put that on it. Wore an eye patch for 2 or 3 days, and that was good to go. But this stuff happens. These little foreign bodies get into us sometimes, and that's the reason that was so obvious, was because it was in my eye. But if it had hit, in my cheek next to that, it might have just been like, ouch, that felt like a grain hitting the owl. Or maybe there was a little splash of blood, and I wouldn't even realize that I had this little piece of metal in my face. I would have just thought it hit me and made an injury, and that was it. So the idea that little tiny pieces of metal and glass end up under our skin is not evidence for extraterrestrials. But if they can demonstrate that there is something more to it, that this is something goes a little bit deeper, that these do have radio waves, these are magnetic, things like that, present me the evidence, because you haven't yet. All right, what do we have next here? Oh yeah, this one's good. So this guy, am I still sharing? Yeah, I still see it. Okay, yes, okay. So this gentleman here is looking at his own leg. He's got something in there, some sort of body in his leg. He's wanting to show us what it looks like. He called it a triangle, but I don't see a triangle. I see more spherical. And I almost want to say this is just a cyst. But you all can also, have your opinions on it. There may be a foreign body inside the cyst. It even looks like a cyst from the outside, though. I've had cysts before. Fortunately, it runs in my family. We're prone to getting cysts on our hands from time to time. So, yeah, which is, a normal part of human anatomy, I suppose. But yeah, they are unsightly sometimes, and it does look peculiar. And if you shine a light through it like that, yeah, I can see how it would come across as weird to someone who wasn't familiar with a cyst or had never had one before. But I don't think that was the alien implant either. That's where that guy stops. Where are we? Okay, so watch that one. Watch that one. Okay, this next one is I'm kind of apprehensive about it because it's on like ABC News. So I don't want to get or no, it's Travel Channel. We'll stop it enough to make it work. Here, let's go. We'll go with it.
Eberhardt claims to have had strange and often terrifying encounters since she was 3 years old.
Barbara Eberhardt interview. Barbara, thank you for sitting down with me and Melissa. Mm-hmm. First of all, where did you grow up?
So she's going to talk about some of her past here, just to make it clear. She goes into going that she's from Nazi Germany, or she was born in. Her earliest memories are living in Soviet. Oh, you know what?
I was born in Berlin in 1943. First time I had contact, we were living in communist-occupied Germany in a little village. I was 3 years old.
At 3 years old, they're monitoring you.
Yes.
And when she says monitoring you, she's talking about the extraterrestrials, not the Soviets. Just to be clear. Now, I am not going to say that this is what happens, but most of my experiences, and I did the perspective for over a year, talked to abductees out the wazoo. I've talked to probably a dozen alien abductees in my time taking those calls. I'd love to get back to that. By the way, Ethan, let's get this show going again. Anyway, so I would talk to them almost always as we dug into the meat of the experience. It always comes down to being basically the same kind of experience I had myself when I suffered from sleep paralysis. I suffered from sleep paralysis when I was working overnights. Monday through Friday, I was working overnights again, factory work, same kind of deal there. Stuff I did while I was younger. And anyway, and when on the weekends would come around, I'd try to sleep at night like a normal person. Mostly I'd sleep with my spouse, but I would always have sleep paralysis happen to me in the middle of the night, like I got clockwork every Saturday night. Anyway, and the experiences that these people describe when they talk about their abductions are very similar to what I experienced on those occasions.
It is very, how should I say, trying at times to digest it all, you know.
Can you give me kind of the description of what they look like?
They have elongated faces. All their hair was no curls, just straight, and all cut at the shoulders. They all had the same haircut. White hair, white skin.
Barbara's description matches that of the Pleiadians.
The Pleiadians they used to call them the Nordics. I guess they don't call them that anymore. They're the tall, blonde, stoic, pale aliens. They're not the gray aliens with the big eyes. They're more human-like. They have human facial features and stuff, but they're really pale and white, and they are, I think they're on average supposed to be taller than humans. They're basically Asgardians. Is when it comes down to. These are the Asgardians. This is Flora and Freya coming down to
While
visit.
They were content to simply monitor Barbara as a toddler, once she grew up, the abductions began.
One time I thought I had a dream, but it wasn't. All of a sudden I was up in the...
And this is like the sleep paralysis where you think it's a dream, and then all of a sudden you're experiencing things as in real world, real time. It's because your brain is parts of your brain are in wake mode, and parts of your brain are still in sleep mode, and not just in sleep mode, in dream mode. So there's the parts of your brain that fabricate images and things like that that is still firing on all pistons, while the other part of your brain that's say now awake and looking around and experiencing the world around me is also alert. So it creates this amalgamation of real time, real experience with hypnopompic hallucinations.
Huge hangar. Kind of ahead of me, I saw two tall white Pleiadians, and I couldn't move. I was pinned to a slab.
But they were not alone.
There were little grays.
Now we have the grays coming in, so now we have a collab between the grays and the Pleiadians. How do they say that? I always call them the Nordic aliens, but that's what they used to call them on the forums and stuff back when I used to engage actively with that. I don't do that so much anymore. As a skeptic, they don't really want to engage with me too much. But
It was very scary.
This is the first time the investigation has come across a collaboration between aliens. Why would different species work together to make human-alien hybrids?
A lot of people.
Human-alien hybrids. They just sprang that on us. That hasn't been a topic of conversation so far. That they were making hybrids. Let's figure out where that's coming
When
from.
they're in an abduction situation, they have seen a Pleiadian in the background with grays. Well,
It's weird. Like, oh, this is the first time that we've seen this, and then that guy's like, no, we see this all the time. Make up your mind. Is this a rare occurrence for Barbara here to see the grays and the Pleiadians cooperating, or is it common?
what we don't know is the Pleiadian actually overseeing the work that the grays are doing, or are they protecting?
Protecting who? The Greys or the person?
But what's the agenda of the Pleiadians, you think? Like, what's what's the big picture? They all work together, raise Pleiadian beings. The way I see it is they think we are a lesser species.
Right. Barbara.
No, the way she sees it, but the way I see it is that they're actually fabricated from your brain. Especially the Nords. It's interesting to think about someone living in Soviet occupied Berlin in the 1940s. Someone growing up in that environment would have visitations by tall Nordic blonde overbearing beings coming along. So it's kind of an interesting idea to think about where that could come from culturally.
Also believe she was implanted with devices.
Here we go. Here's our implants.
Implant behind my ear here, the base of my brain. And they inserted an implant in my shoulder.
And that the Pleiadians are tracking her.
I think that's basically like a tag. We did an MRI. The doctor said, oh, what's that behind your ear? That it was an elongated thing.
So there's more to her story that I've read elsewhere where it's talking about how she was having hearing problems. That's why she went to the doctor at first to have them examine that and do the MRI. They did. I don't think they cover that here, but
you can really see the implant. It's sort of like a square thingy there, and he told me to come back 6 weeks later, and we're going to discuss it, everything. And the doctor didn't even want to touch the subject. So I personally think he looked at it and he saw it was an implant, and he didn't want to touch it.
And you said you have the MRI image of the implant, correct?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm sorry if you guys are responding. I can't see right now because I don't have one screen.
Skull an alien implant, and if so, what?
Hold on. Let's look at it from the different angles here. Okay, so here looks like it is slightly rectangular in this image. What bone is this? Is this like the ear bone? Where are we looking at here? Because this doesn't look like. Let's see. This one doesn't look like the skull, but this one, the next one definitely looks like it's in the brain. Or no, this one doesn't either. So that's round with a hole in the middle there. Okay.
If so, what is its purpose?
This is the late.
Then we have this one that's a little bit different.
So here's the nasal cavity, your sinus cavities here.
Okay, so that's the MRI. And
here the right side, it says it's 7 millimeters. So they had measured it.
And I'm not seeing it. I just see the marking they put on there.
They knew that it would.
So because that eye shape is not that. That's not in the MRI.
Was unique and strange enough, they thought to take a measurement.
Before the body in someone's head, sure. They're going to take a measurement of it. Now, why wouldn't they? It'd be weird if they didn't take a measurement of it. Okay, so what have we learned? What have we learned about alien implants? What have we figured out? That for the most part, they are just little pieces of glass or metal that get lodged in someone's skin somehow and show up on an X-ray or MRI, and the person's like, I don't know how that got there. So they automatically want to link it to this experience that they had, this sleep paralysis experience that they had at some point in their lifetime. Say, hey, what if when I had that experience, this was something that they put in my body? But there's no deeper examination of the evidence, and we're kind of counting the hits and discounting the misses, because the only, as far as I can see, the only laboratory examinations of these things always come back as being something mundane, something terrestrial. So why are we jumping to the conclusion that they're extraterrestrial. Yeah, Travel Channels basically became like the History Channel. They'll do ghost shows and all that stuff too. But hopefully I don't get a strike for that. I think I stopped at plenty of time, but I'm just critiquing it. So fair use, mother. Because they always, those big channels always try to get you for that. I'm not monetized anyway, so I don't know what they hope to gain from doing a claim against me, but I don't think that they should have a claim on this one because I'm critiquing their nonsense, because this whole video was nonsense, making baseless claims about the origins of these foreign bodies and these people that aren't backed by the evidence. There's no evidence for these objects that are removed being of extraterrestrial origin, having any kind of strange or abnormal qualities to them. None of them. They're, for the most part, they just seem to be foreign bodies of common elements that have been lodged in the skin. But it's definitely worth looking into. I would love to see some more analysis of these claims. I would love to see that, but as of right now, there's been nothing to support Dr. Lear's claims or anything else, or any of these other ones. But that being said, thank you for joining us for CryptoCorner. I was so happy that you could tag along on this little adventure that we went on exploring alien implants and the lore behind it. If you're watching this on Fridays, hopefully we'll start releasing these on Fridays again soon once I get my editing software back. But yeah, thank you for watching CryptoCorner, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, now for everybody else, everybody watching this live with me, I'm live from the Hive this morning. Thank you for sticking around, because I know that there are probably some people who are just here for what's coming next. And we will get there. So you guys know me, people who are fans of the channel, who hang out with me on Live from the Hive, or when I pop over to one of my many skeptic community streams and hang out in a fun little panel chat with some people. But I like to do one-on-one engagements with creationists, people that don't agree with me. That's kind of fun for me. I'm sorry about I'm getting this line on my head. I guess the angle that I'm sitting at is not the best, because that's coming through the blinds there, and it keeps hitting my eyes. So I'm going to scoot over a little bit. All right. And again, this is not where I'm going to be permanently. I'm going to be over there soon enough. I'll be on this wall, and that wall is going to be pretty awesome. I already got stuff stacked up over there for the layout of the studio. I have different ideas on it, so we shall see. Aw, thank you, Bjorn. You're a sweetheart. Hey, Godseed, good to see you. Lots of new people popping in. Great to see everybody this morning. So I look for new people to engage with, because as I was saying on Rage's channel last night, which if you missed it, I was on a little panel with the Raging Atheist. We had some great people in there. Math Pig, We're Gay came in here, Leo Felius, Jason Torn. We had a nice little panel with discussions and such. Oh, I do not have the administrative capabilities to be president. Hi, Afro-humanist. I just don't have that capability. You can put me over the Department of Environmentalism or something like that. I can handle, but no, I would defer presidency to somebody with better qualifications than me. But thank you for the vote of confidence that I could handle such a task. I am more of a science communicator. But yeah, you want to put me in that position. I do better than the last few. Yeah, it doesn't take much to do better than Trump and Biden. I don't think I can top Obama, though. And not that Obama was like the greatest thing or anything. We haven't really had a president that I thought was awesome since Well, I don't even know. I'd have to think deeper on that. Native atheist, good morning. Right. So anyway, I get tired of looking at the same, looking into the same apologist all the time, and the same folks to engage with about these topics. I get tired of the same Hovind, Ray Comfort, and Ken Ham, Matt Powell, Stealing for Truth, Otangelo Grasso, Gavin Herleman, all these same old folks. There are some great apologists out there that I love interacting with. I like Rebecca. I like Paleologos Peter. I haven't had any direct interactions with Guzman, but I have responded to some of Guzman's stuff, and I like Guzman as far as that goes. Obviously, I don't agree with a lot of what they say sometimes, but as far as their person as an individual, I like them. There's other apologists that I don't like. But I'm always on the lookout for new people to engage with, new people making claims about us, about atheism, about the science that we understand, about evolution, about other social issues too that are similar, that are kind of on the same divide, like things like LGBTQ issues, things like abortion rights, things like gun rights, that sort of stuff, where we get this public voice from the right, and I want to engage with it. I want to interact with them. I want to have that conversations. I want to push those topics and see what we can garner from each other. So I'm always happy when I find someone who is wanting to engage with us. And that was the case, or at least I thought it was, with the individual that I'm going to be talking about today. Let me pull up his channel for you so you can kind of see who this individual is. And give me just a second here. There we go. Okay, so who we're looking at is this young man here. His name is Wheel at the Wheel. He has 7 subscribers, so he's not a big channel. Not a big channel, but he's got a lot of opinions and a lot of videos. He used to number them. He stopped numbering them at some point. Numbers did get all out of order here a little bit. We have like 83, 80, 75. So there's a lot of videos, a lot of content that this gentleman puts out. For the most part, he does it from behind the wheel of his car. He has not been actually going on doing this for very long, and some of the videos, as you can see, are no longer available. But let's let him introduce himself to us, and then we'll move forward. So here's his first video, and move out from there.
Hello, my name is Christopher, and if you're watching this video, I would just like to say hello and I welcome you to my channel.
Hi, Christopher. Thank you for welcoming us to your channel.
I kind of just want to say why I'm doing this channel. I have 2 reasons as to why. The first reason is simply out of curiosity. I am wondering what would happen if I post videos like this, just driving, as frequently as I possibly can. What would happen over the course of a year to this channel? Will it get views? Will I get subscribers? I have no idea, but I think I'm just very interested to see. That's the first reason. The second reason is because I have a lot of strong opinions, and people may agree, people may disagree, and that's fine. I want to live in a society where I can feel free to express myself without the fear of being wrong. As a matter
You guys be prepared, because he does have some opinions, I promise.
of fact, that's why I'm doing this. I want to express my opinions, and if I am wrong, that's great, because this only means that I'm more in line with the truth. And there is nothing more I would like to be. So if I am wrong, good. And
Oh, I know a lot of things you're wrong about, but we'll get into it.
So, enjoy, comment, agree, disagree.
We will enjoy. I did comment. I disagree.
Yeah,
but
welcome to the channel.
Let's go. Let's see what these strong opinions that our friend Chris has here are. We will, as you can see, I've watched a lot of them already. There is, okay, so that was episode 1. 2 was about school shooting and gun laws. He basically espouses the arm of the teacher motivation there, but that's not the main thing I want to talk about. He does not support pride, as you can see here. We will we'll probably pop into that as well. But he made a decision to dredge up atheism. I'm not sure which video is the first one. Oh, here we go. My problem with atheism. Here we go. It's a 4-minute video. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit because he talks kind of slow.
I've been thinking lately, I cannot quite figure out atheism. Like, I just don't understand it. And if atheists are listening to this, say, how can you not understand it? We don't understand what you're doing. And I just want to clarify the debate here. See, every debate I see with Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, their debate is always religion versus atheism, right? So they're debating original sin and walking on water and born of the Virgin Mary.
They're actually debating logic and science. When you listen, at least with Dawkins, it is. But I digress.
And rising from the dead, they're debating that versus science. But atheism isn't science, so I really don't know what the fuck they're arguing. Mm-hmm. That's their argument.
Atheism isn't anything other than hey, do you believe in God? No, I don't. That's all it is the rejection of one claim. Someone says, hey, I believe in this God. You say, no, I don't believe in that God. And that's my position. That's why I consider myself agnostic to the proposition, because I don't reject the possibility of a God. I reject all the gods that I've been presented with so far. I don't think that they are real. Doesn't mean I don't think that there's any kind of deistic God out there or something along those lines. That's where my agnosticism comes in. I don't know. So far, all the evidence that I've seen is naturalistic. All the things that are around us and the existence that we live in seems to have a natural source. But let's see where he goes.
That's their debate. That's the incorrect debate. The debate is, I'm not even making the argument, I feel. I think it's just obvious given the fact that any of us are here. But I'm debating God, and my definition of God is the existence of a higher power versus atheism, which I'm not really sure what atheism is, because the definition actually says a belief or disbelief, the disbelief in God. So your definition is odd. It's almost like you're
it's a disbelief in gods, plural, because there's more than just yours out there being proposed. It's more than just yours, and I guarantee that you reject the gods of other religions. You reject the Olympians, the Asgardians. That you reject the Egyptian gods. That you reject. I bet you even reject other Abrahamic gods, other versions of Abrahamic gods like Allah. I bet you reject that. So just take that one step further, and we, as an atheist, we reject those gods too. We're on the same page as you. That seem ridiculous, their mythology seems, I don't want to say ridiculous, but it's mythology, it's legends and lore, but we accept that, like you, that that the Muslim tradition is legends and lore, that the Hellenistic traditions are legends and lore. We just also look at your personal religion and say legends and lore.
Making the leap of faith, you claim to be against that there is nothing. Anyway, let's just say for
purposes
that atheism is the belief. Let's just say for intrinsic purposes that atheism is the belief in nothing.
Whoa.
So the definition is odd. It's almost like you're making the leap of faith you claim to be against that there is nothing. Anyway, let's just say...
No, where's the nothing coming from? I don't even believe in nothing. Where you get nothing is a creationist idea, because there was a beginning. In the current scientific models, that's not the case at all. There's just a point to where we can look back temporally through time and see, you know, at this point things start to break down. The whatever existed before this was different or untraceable. We come back to this point, which we call the singularity. Beyond that, we don't have any real concept of what was going on before that, or even if before that is a realistic concept. If there's saying what was before the singularity, because the singularity is not just the expansion of matter and energy, it's also the expansion of time. So there's no time before this. There's no temporal state to say before, or that it came from this, because coming from something is an order of events that requires causality. You can't have causality before there's a temporal state, a temporal framework. When I say temporal, I'm talking about time. So you cannot have before time. It's nonsensical. That's as nonsensical as saying what's north of the North Pole. There's no before time. There's no before the singularity, because temporal expansion is included as part of our cosmic expansion.
For intrinsic purposes, that atheism is the belief in nothing.
No, creationism is the belief in nothing. Yeah, we don't believe in nothing. All of our examination, and it's, again, keep saying atheism. Atheism is just, again, a rejection of a, and I'll go with your definition of a god. I'll use what you said, a higher being, maybe that created existence, the reality that we live in. So we just reject that idea and think that those things are that is a natural cycle, perhaps of the cosmos. Or, you know, there's other hypotheses as well, but there's no reason at this point in time, with what we understand about the nature of the universe and the cosmos at large, to infer that there is a deity behind that. It's just that it's not evident. There's no piece. And if there was, I would be all over it. I would love to have the concept of an afterlife. I'd love to see my dad again, but I love the idea that there's more to our existence than this. But so far, that's not what the evidence shows.
Which is funny. You believe that there's nothing, although I'm looking at a lot of shit, including my phone. Okay, so.
Nobody, we don't believe there's nothing. You believe there's nothing, because in the beginning, there was nothing. Hold on, I'll be right back. Again, the doorbell just rang. Probably package delivery. It was a package, but I think it was for the previous tenant. Let me catch up with my chat here. It was a delivery. It wasn't anything for me, though. It was for the previous tenant, so I'll have to put that back out or give that back to them, because they just left it and drove away.
The debate is the existence of a higher power versus nothing.
That's not the debate. Your debate, the existence of a higher power, includes nothing, because he had to create. The higher power created everything from nothing. In our model, we have what's called the second law of thermodynamics. I don't know if you know or are familiar with that. It's basically the notion that, well, first of all, matter is energy that's cooled. So we will make that inference first, that matter and energy are the same, and that at an earlier point in time, that all the substance that we call matter was in an energetic state because it was hot and dense at the stage of the singularity. So, and for a long, long time, for billions of years after expansion started, it was still too hot and dense for matter to exist. So everything's in an energetic state at this time. And energy, we understand about the second law of thermodynamics, and we're going to function moving forward in this conversation as if and I don't know if this is the case, but that the universe is a closed system. So, yeah, the energy can't be created or destroyed. So our model does not fit with the nothing claims that you are talking about. Now, even in the depths of space, even in these empty hollow points out in the far reaches, there are still particles that pop in and out of existence that are, I believe it's mostly electrons, very electron heavy, but so they do pop in and out of existence. So yeah, our model does not have nothing. That's the creation model, where in the beginning there was nothing and then God created all this stuff.
That's what we're debating here. Now, as I just said, I see a lot of things, so it just seems like the burden of proof would be on the atheist to say that I'm looking at nothing. Or this is where it gets confusing.
That's not our claim, though. That's why it's confusing you. We don't believe in nothing. Nothing is a creationist concept. There's nothing there's no scientific grounding for your assertion that there had to have been nothing. No, that claim has never been made. And again, you're not really arguing against atheism here. You're arguing against cosmology, what our understanding is of the origins of the universe. That's not atheism, buddy. That's cosmology. That's the current scientific model for the origins of the world we see around us. Yeah.
See, for me to prove with tangible physical evidence that there is indeed a higher intelligence, it's like very simple. You just use science. The Fibonacci sequence, you ever heard of it? The same design as in a snail shell on a pine cone in a star constellation, in a vortex when you flush the toilet in our DNA spark.
Yeah, that's physics, is what you're talking about. That's the what happens to matter. What happens to matter in a vacuum where gravity, because matter is what generates gravity. Matter basically it's like it's moving in the or filling that space and creates a vacuum. Sort of, that's kind of oversimplification, but gravity is an emergent property of matter, and gravity causes what you're talking about there with these spirals. Yeah, the Fibonacci sequence, that everything spirals.
This specific design is found all throughout the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You can touch
because
it.
Physics work the same throughout the universe as far as we can see. Physics and the way it acts on matter and energy is observable, and the Fibonacci sequence is an observation of that.
It's a design. It's a spiral.
It's not a design. No, it's just physics.
Real proof that
if you spin something around, that makes a spiral, it makes a spiral with specific dimensions is proof of physics and gravity, not a design. Someone doesn't have to design a spiral. Spirals happen naturally. You can take you get flush in your toilet. That's not designed. That's not a design. That's gravity.
There's a design to the universe. That there is something. That's what science. See, they make the mistake.
Not what science says. No.
Although I believe in Jesus, it's the Son
physics.
of God. That's beside the point. I'm saying there is something bigger than us, and atheists are saying, prove it. Well, I just did with science. Like
you did. No, you just proved that physics is a thing and it causes specific reactions on matter. Because this is what they call an argument from incredulity. You don't understand how the physics of gravity react on the matter and energy to cause these spirals that you see in the galaxies and things, and even particles on Earth. That you don't seem to understand that this is a emergent property of the gravitational forces on this matter. So you're incredulous about it and decide that it has to have been designed. That's not how this works.
I guess atheists are, I don't know. If an atheist is watching this, please let me know like what this debate is. It's bothering me.
Yeah, but I was an atheist watching it. Is this one I commented on? No, but he had lots of comments on it. Lots of comments, but not a not a one from Bree. I'm trying to find the ones that I commented on, because this guy was all like, "Oh, atheists are afraid to talk to me." I'm like, I'm not afraid to talk to you. And look at this one, reality of trans. We're gonna get there, but we're gonna go through these atheism videos first, because he really doesn't enjoy it. Doesn't enjoy atheism in general. Is this one I responded to?
So this is the second atheist video I made today, and I want to make this again. So throw religion out of the argument. The debate is the existence of a higher power versus I believe in nothing. So the debate is really nothing versus something. So the burden of proof is on atheists to make the claim that there is nothing, because I'm looking around and I'm seeing something.
No, we don't believe in nothing. Well, I shouldn't say we don't believe. I'm sure there's atheists that do believe there's a nothing. Nothing is again a creationist concept. It's saying that that the universe had a beginning. In the beginning, it's one of the first things. Was that Genesis 1:1, right? In the beginning, God created, and before that, nothing, right? So we don't actually have that in our I don't want to say theology, in our models. Your model does have in the beginning where there was nothing. Ours does not, because it's cyclical. As far as we can tell, there's a few different hypotheses: the Big Bounce, the Big Bang, the multiverse, all these different ideas, that none of them include the concept of nothing that you're talking about. I have not seen any evidence for this nothing that you claim exists, or that you claim that we say exists, nor have I seen anybody make an argument that this nothing exists. So you're going to have to back up that claim.
Unless your argument is the stuff I'm seeing is nothing. And you would have to explain that to me. You would have to...
It's not nothing, it's...
proof that everything is nothing. Unless my definition of atheism is wrong, and I don't know.
Your definition of atheism is wrong. So atheism is just, again, it's a philosophical position. There's a lot of nuance there that you're missing. I think I would recommend looking at maybe Graham Oppy to see about that, because for a long time there's been this idea of hard atheism and soft atheism. That's kind of the model I still use. It's just because I'm old. It's not because I'm that I necessarily adhere to it. It's just that the way that I came up into the community describing myself as an agnostic atheist. So they kind of put it into 4 categories, with agnostic atheism, Gnostic atheism, agnostic theism, and Gnostic theism, which is, so atheism is the way that they put it is atheism is a belief claim, and atheism is a belief claim, and Gnosticism is a knowledge claim. So if you're atheist, you believe. If you believe that there is no God. If you're an agnostic atheist, you believe that there's no God, but you don't know that there's no God. Now, when you get into Oppy's work on that, it really kind of falls apart, because Oppy wants to make I shouldn't say he wants to make, he wants to interpret that there is only agnosticism or atheism. Atheism has to be a hard belief. And that we should either define ourselves as atheist or agnostic, and there shouldn't be any subsets like that. There's got a lot of good arguments to be made about that. It's a drum that Steve McRae beats an awful lot. So if you're watching this, you might go check out Steve McRae if you want to delve into the definition of atheism argument. I'm tired of it, but you are coming into this fresh, and it's kind of silly to hear some of the claims you're making, Chris. So I'm checking out my chat real quick before I go on. Make sure everybody's still with me. Everybody still with me? Are we still holding on? Yeah, more atheists should read Graham Oppy too. That's what I'm saying. Oh, his argument was all over the place. It fails. It's both a scientific argument and a philosophical argument. Agreed. The only way I know of, we'll pull that up here. The only way I know of the idea of a God is books and people making claims. Who's the chatty one making crackling noises in the background? Let's see them. Is there a chatty person in the background? I don't know. I figured if one is secure in their beliefs, they would be so triggered by people who don't believe as they do. Well, you know, I feel like he was making an honest effort at the beginning here, and then he kind of, I don't know if it's because of the trolls in his comments, but he gets really nasty.
It's not science, because if it was, it would be called science.
It's not science. It's philosophy. It's a linguistic. It's how we use language. So language is fluid and does change over time, but it is mostly philosophy. When you start talking about atheism and agnosticism, it's philosophy, not science. I agree with you, but there is science that we use to come to our conclusions about the origins of the universe and what we currently have based on things like redshift and background radiation and things like that. We can kind of infer that from the data what the state of the early universe was like. So we know that the biblical model does not stand up to the scrutiny of the science. But that's not to say that there couldn't be some kind of deistic entity again. I'm not making that claim because I'm agnostic to such a claim. And again, I'm using old terminology maybe because that's the terminology you seem to be using, and I'm trying to relay that to you when I say what you're talking about with atheism.
Not the belief in something. It's not the
right. It's not the belief in something. It's the rejection of a claim about something.
It isn't the belief in nothing. This is the problem. I don't know what atheism is. Please, somebody comment. Very short. What is atheism? Like one sentence. We can do that with Islam. We can do it with Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity. It's very easy to define. I just wanted to.
If your religions were, if religion in general was so easy to define, there wouldn't be so many schisms about what it means, about what God is, what He wants, what His nature is. Or about how many gods there are, about what the gods do, about their role in our creation, in our humanity, about there wouldn't be deism and theism and pantheism and all these different categories if it was that easy to define what religion is or what theism is. It's not something you could put into a simple sentence because not all of them have the same criteria. Generally speaking, though, theism is the belief in God or gods, some deities or higher powers, usually associated with the creation of the world that we live in. So that is what we reject as atheism. It's not a science claim, though. You know, again, there's science that we base, or that I base what I believe on.
Definition of atheism that makes sense to me, because then I can know what the actual debate is.
Yeah. And let's keep it going here. So, and again, there's a lot of videos here. I did comment on them and tried to engage with this gentleman. So, here, atheism.
This is why atheists are cowards, because there is actually no clear definition of atheism. They just attack everything else.
Who's attacking anything? Asking you to scrutinize your beliefs for truth value is not an attack, my friend. Saying, hey, this about your belief system doesn't make sense to me in my analytical, rational mind is not an attack on you. It's not personal. No one is out to get you because of that. What we want to know, or what we want you to do, is kind of look at your beliefs under a microscope.
It just makes you a bully attacking people that do.
No, we're not. It's not a bully. It's asking people questions about why they believe what they believe is not bullying.
About the existence of that higher power. Not religion, not walking on water. You actually think people can explain how this happened? Think people know how Jesus rose from the dead? We have the science for that.
There's a science.
Well, that's bullying for people's faith. Because I guarantee you, I haven't even read the Bible, but I guarantee you the guy that saw Jesus.
Hey, I read the Bible. I've read a couple of Bibles.
Well, couldn't explain it either.
And the person who saw David Blaine make an elephant disappear in the middle of the Las Vegas Square couldn't explain it either. Doesn't mean it was magic.
Give me a definition of atheism so I can have a debate, not Christianity, a debate of the existence of a higher power. To whatever you have.
Ugh. That little at the end there, it's like, dude, you're not making good arguments. What are you acting smug about? And this guy, he gets more smug the longer we go. So, let's see, 15, 16, my definition of atheist. This is going to be in the freaking short, so.
Because I cannot find an atheist who can give me a precise definition, I have came up with one myself. They are not right, they are not wrong. They're simply too much of a coward to be either. He's pretty good, actually.
Whoa, so you came up with your own definition. That's wonderful. So when we get to your trans video, we're gonna talk about making up your own definitions. So I bet you have your own definition for those things too. There's a couple. He only does shorts for just a few of his videos, just randomly throughout. It's kind of odd how. Next was a short too, though.
You know, you really have to give to those atheists. They defend their beliefs almost as good. You know, you really have to give it to those atheists.
Oh, God dang it. Oh, nobody wants to watch the spider molt but me.
You know, you really have to give it to those atheists. They defend their beliefs almost as good as Christians.
I would say better.
You know, you really have to give it to those atheists. They defend their beliefs almost as good as Christians. You know, you really have to give it to those atheists.
Oh, it's just that. That's it. Oh, stop. Now I have to do all this and go back through all these.
You know, you really...
I muted in time just so I didn't blow your all's eardrums out with my giant sneeze. Yes, we're coming up with one's own definition of a theoretical opponent's position. There's a word for that, isn't there? Something to do with, like, was it a scarecrow, sandman? No, straw man. That's what that's called, straw man. When you come up with your own position for your opponent that you can bowl over, it's called straw man, Chris. So let's not do that because that's a fallacious position to take. But he's going to dismantle atheism here anyway, so I'm probably going to be a theist after watching this.
In this video, I clearly and logically prove that all atheism is a faith-based belief in nothing. A faith-based belief in nothing. Here's why. Many atheists will tell you that the correct definition of atheism is the non-belief in God. Okay, a
lack of belief in God, not the non-belief in God. Although I guess that's just a language or a linguistic thing. But I would say it's a lack of belief in God because that can be adjusted if in light of evidence.
Belief in God. First of all, you have to define what God is to not believe in it.
I'm going to go with your definition of, you said higher power. I'm okay with that. I don't believe in your higher power. I don't believe your claims about your higher power. That's it. That's what my atheism is. People come to me and say, I have a God, deity that did this or that makes this happen, that created the world, whatever. And I say, no, I don't believe that.
My definition of God is this: the reality of something, the validity of reality.
So your definition of God is reality, then you're just personifying the universe. So you are a pantheist? What is it, or a panthathlist? Anyway.
So now the definition of atheism turns into the non-belief in the reality of something.
So if you define God as reality, then you present atheism as not the non-belief in God. You just don't believe in reality. Fun stuff.
Well, to not believe in the only reality we have, you must have evidence and proof of nothing.
No, I believe in the reality we have. I don't believe the reality that we have is your God. I don't believe that. I don't believe this at all. You're going to have to back that up. If you want to say that reality is emergent property of God or is God himself, you're going to have to support that. The evidence does not follow.
Right? The opposite of something is nothing. You see how atheism quickly turns into the belief in nothing?
Right. When you twist it around and make up your own definitions, you can make it that atheism is the belief in nothing.
So my challenge to atheists out there, prove to me with physical evidence that nothing exists.
No, you prove to me that nothing exists. Nothing is your claim, not mine. In my model, energy, as far as we can tell, has always existed. And that matter is just a state of energy. So, yeah, there's no nothing there. But your model does have nothing. Your model has in the beginning. So if there was a beginning, that means before the beginning there was nothing. Explain it to me. Explain that nothing and what it was and what its composition was. If it has a composition, then it's not nothing. So it's a nonsensical claim.
And when you can prove to me that nothing exists, then I'm going to question the validity of reality, the reality of something. Now I'm talking to you over my phone.
Now, questioning the validity of reality. Now we're getting into some philosophical talking points. That's great because we can go back to like a brain in a vat and things like that. How do we know what we experience is real? How do we know that the world that we live in is real? You know, there's really at the end of the day we have to go back to I think therefore I am. You know, I can conclude I'm real, but anything else could be. I can conclude in my own mind that I'm real, I should say. I shouldn't say that you should be able to conclude that I'm real because you are inside my mind. I could be a fabrication of your mind. The whole of reality could be a fabrication of your mind, but we need to function in order to have these conversations as if the reality that you and I experience is real. And then we'll explore the nature of it. And we can't just, from the jumping off point, say, oh, somebody had to create this reality, because that's they call begging the question once you start questioning reality, because instead of questioning how this reality came into being, you're saying who created this reality, which is already assuming your answer.
You can hear what I'm saying. That's something, is it not?
Yeah.
So I would really like you to prove to me that nothing exists.
But I don't believe that nothing exists. That's the thing. That's not part of my model. And hopefully I'm getting up to where I started commenting on these because he did engage with me. Where were we? Oh, here we go. My advice for atheists.
So, hence the title of this video, Advice for Atheists. Now, I don't mean to say, I have made some videos and I've called to atheist counts. And some of them are, you know, if you're going to just attack someone's beliefs and faith for the sake of being right, while at the same time really not claiming not to believe in anything, it's a cowardly thing to do. It's a bully thing to do. You know, let people have their faith, let people believe in what they want to believe. So I do think there's some cowardice there. Now, on the other end, I think a lot of atheists...
It's not... What cowardice are you talking about?
...are highly intelligent people. I think atheists are, like everyone, trying to figure out what reality is, what the world is, and what is our place in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, please do not come at this like attacking me for like religious beliefs or my Christian talking, because I haven't been in church in years. So, I don't say that proudly, actually, but because I believe it is good to worship, give thanks to the unknown, to the mystery of life. Anyway, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have put up a lot of stuff recently about atheism, and I've heard a lot of arguments, and I've heard a lot of different things, which subsequently has left me more confused than when I began thinking about atheism.
Right. It's because I think your approach is probably wrong, because you have this idea that atheism believes that everything came from nothing, but that's just not the case. Atheism is just saying that we don't believe that a God did it. That doesn't mean that it came from nothing. There's other naturalistic explanations that we can attach to that, and there's lots of hypotheses and models that'll show that to you. They'll present that case to you, that there are other possibilities beyond just the idea of a personified entity out there in the vastness, creating and fabricating existence whole cloth. It's just that's archaic, an archaic way to look at things. So your approach is wrong, I think.
So I want to give atheists some advice, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you where I see things going off the rails. And if I was an atheist, I would want to hear what an outside opinion, looking in for the first time, looking into this.
Yep, let's hear it.
Thing we have called atheism. So that would be the first issue I have with atheism, which is, I've said so many times and I'll continue to say it, there is no clear definition of atheism. Let me explain. There's the traditional
It's more of a linguistic issue and philosophical issue than a theological issue, though, in what you're making it out as far as the definition of atheism, because it's those who reject the proposition of a God. If you stick with that, you should be okay. There are subsets and nuance to it, but let's go with that right now. Those who reject the proposition of a God.
Definition of atheism that roughly 70% of atheists use, which is a non-belief in God. However, there's other.
You keep saying the non-belief in God. I've never heard anybody use that terminology before. Most of us just say we reject the belief in God, or reject a God belief, or don't accept a God belief, not a non-belief in God.
The definition, the non-belief in non-belief in deities. Which is a definition. I have had, but I hope people can understand a deity and God are completely. I mean, I hope people are able to separate the two.
No, God is a deity. And a deity is God.
As a deity is more like a personification of God as if you being here on earth. Where God
no, I think you're mixing up the word deity with demigod, I think is what we're running into here. Demigod is the personification of a god on earth, which would be like Hercules or Jesus or Mithras. Those characters are demigods, but a god is not a demigod. Those are not deities. A deity is just another word for a deity. Is a creating entity. Deism is the same root word on that. It's intelligence that created something. So yeah, God is a deity by definition.
Something different than that. Let's just say like a designer. I know atheists go, oh, there is no designer in the theory. Okay, but there's a difference between what God is and what a deity is.
What's the difference? Sounds like you're describing demigods.
So these are two completely different statements: a non-belief in God and a non-belief in deities. The other difference, however, is that, and this one is really good, that the actual definition of atheism is one that holds multiple definitions.
Yeah, there's multiple definitions for lots of things.
It's not really helpful, because if you're trying to discuss atheism, if you're trying to learn more about it, and if you ask a question, and then someone changes the definition of it, because
they don't change. So when you start a conversation with an atheist or with a theist, ask them what they believe, instead of just saying, oh, well, this definition means you believe this. You don't get to clarify or anything. I'm going to go with you believe in nothing because that's what I think an atheist is. You don't get to do that. You have to let your interlocutor tell you what they believe. You don't tell them what they believe.
I don't have an answer. Well, now there's an issue, and now there's a problem. You're going to have people like me change the definition of God, because, well, if you do it with atheism, why can't you do it with God? I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that would be operating on an equal playing field. So, to the atheist...
If someone is changing the definition of atheism with you in the middle of a conversation, then that's disingenuous, and you can call them out for that. But I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that you have a definition of atheism in your head, and when they tell you that doesn't match what they believe, you say they're changing the definition when they're not. What it is you have a definition that doesn't match theirs in your own mind.
This out there, this is really important. You need to come up with one solid definition that encompasses all of atheism, all of atheism. And
yeah, it is. It is that we don't believe claims about gods. So start there.
If you want this claim to be, let's say, as airtight as something like religion, you know, this
religions are airtight. Please make notes of that religious claims are airtight.
claim has to really be
no contradictions in the Bible at all.
Something you're willing to die for.
No, I will never have atheism be something I'm willing to die for. I adjust my beliefs on evidence. If you can show me evidence that a God believes, or that the God you believe in is real, I would become a theist. I wouldn't die for being an atheist. I don't know why I would have to have that sort of commitment to my disbelief in the claims about a God. I don't have to double down on that. I am allowed to adjust my position in light of evidence, but you have to bring the evidence. You're not just going to claim the evidence or claim that there's evidence without showing it and then tell me that I have to die for my beliefs.
So you have to come up with a clear definition, especially if you're going to attack other people for their faith.
No, you don't. I can point out that there's holes in your theories, in your belief system, all while saying, hey, in my belief system, there is this that we don't know. There's this hole, there's that hole. I can do that. I can still point out the holes and flaws in your beliefs without being in denial that there are holes or flaws in my beliefs. Everything I believe, I'm going to tell you right now, everything I believe is probably not true. I probably believe things that are not facts because I'm a flawed human and the ways that I have to collect information have their limitations. So there are things that they probably believe right now that aren't true. I find out things that I believed aren't true all the time. Every day I'll be like, oh my gosh, I thought for the longest time that this was a true fact and it's not. That happens, and it's okay to readjust your beliefs. That is what we should do. That's what humans should do.
And I'm not saying that to create argument, that's just my observation. And it's a problem. If you don't have a clear definition and you attack, then you have people like me saying, hey, you're being a bully, you're being a coward.
How is it being a bully to say, hey, your belief, asking you to explain it, hey, your belief has this issue, how do you reconcile that? That's not bullying, that's intellectual discourse.
And the second problem that I have run into is that there seems to be two talking points that are recurrent with atheists that are at odds with each other. One of these is that, how can you possibly know anything? You can't know anything. There's nothing to know.
There's the brain and the vat, right? Yeah, if you want to push it back all the way to our perception of reality, sure, we can go there. But let's function. That's not really an argument that you'll hear from me. It's more of an argument you hear from the philosophical quarters of the community, and not just atheists, but skeptics in general. And even theological skeptics will say, bring it back like a presuppositionalist will say, in order to know anything, you have to already have a belief in God. Things like that. It's more nuanced than you're making it, and these are not unique to the atheist community. These are unique to the epistemological discussions, to the deep thought of the nature of reality and philosophical conversations. You're getting into a whole nother realm that is beyond just atheism versus theism, because both groups want to have these discussions. And it sounds like maybe the philosophy bros are responding this to you, and you're not prepared for that conversation because you're more like me, an empiricist, which is fine. That's probably his next point.
You can't prove anything. You don't know anything. That's one argument. And I agree with that. It's hard to actually know anything. The other argument is used is that on the other side, we're using tools within this reality that we don't know if it's real to say that something.
Right, two different groups here. So you got your philosophical position on it, where you discuss the nature of reality and existence, and then you have the empirical side, which is the study of what's observable, not metaphysical. And so that's empirical. There's numbers behind it. There's measurements. We can verify and independently verify these things. So two different schools of thought there. And I am an empiricist. I do kind of dabble in philosophy a little bit, but usually I defer it to someone like Danny or Leo or somebody else who's more interested in it than I am, because I'm more practical, down to earth, and metaphysics kind of. I mean, I will talk about it. I've been talking about it for the last 45 minutes or so. But generally, the discussion you're going to have with me is going to be the latter.
It doesn't make any sense. So you need a clear definition that every atheist can use. Otherwise, you are not atheist. You are just individual.
Well, you have to say you need a clear definition of what every theist believes. And I'm sure if I ask you, and I go down to ask a Sikh, if I go down to ask a rabbi, if I go to ask some uncontacted people in the heart of the Amazon, their beliefs are going to be, their theism is going to be greatly different from yours. So there's not one definition of atheism, not one definition of theism, but generally we would say theism is the proposition of a higher power, and then atheism is, with A in front of the theism, just means the rejection of or lack of. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
So the word atheism can be thrown out the window. Maybe that's better shit. I don't know. And then the other thing, are you only in belief, not even belief, but is it just math, science, and logic, or not? Is there like something else? Because I've used science to make a case for God, but then when I do that, it's not the right science.
What science did you use to make a case for God? The only thing I heard was the Fibonacci sequence, which is just seems to be your misunderstanding of the way physics work in our universe, and why that matter reacts the way it does, and energy too. Again, matter and energy kind of tethered together with time as well, which is an interesting concept. But the way that they react to the physics of our universe is documented. That's not evidence for God, though. It's just evidence for physics.
And I get an argument that is, well, at the end of the day, how can you actually say you're right? So, for the atheist, listen, I hope this is helpful. And again, I'm not saying this to attack. I'm saying these are clear holes in a lot of arguments I've been hearing. I'm going to leave at that. Let me know what you guys think.
Let's see, I comment on this one. There's somebody here who really went to town on this Deniquez. Really, he got dogpiled on this one. Look at these comment section. Good grief. I'm looking for the place where I challenged him, though, because that's what I wanted to delve into, because we're not going to ignore that. Okay, so where were we? It was the 9-minute one, so let me just watch that one right there. This is a trans video too. This one right here. We will get into those, but I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go through all the atheism videos first.
So I finally figured out what atheism is, and it took me some time. I had to post like 8 videos. I had to talk to like 30 of them, and it was really hard to figure out what it is, because each person pretty much had a definition for what atheism is. Each person made a different argument for what atheism is, and then it clicked. I was like, okay, I get it. Atheism is just a bunch of individuals with their own individual thoughts and opinions who are afraid to stand on their own 2 feet, so they find safety in numbers. You know what they did? They came up with this term called atheism, which is pretty much saying, like,
why are they afraid to stand on their own 2 feet when they're all voicing independent opinions publicly that are unique? And they share, and again, atheism, we're not a monolith. We are a wide variety of people. There are religious atheists. Buddhism is an atheist religion with no God. So yeah, we're a varied bunch. We just answer one question the same. Hey, do you believe that there's a God that created everything? Or not even that, just do you believe that there's a God? And we say, nah, I haven't seen any evidence that there's a God. That's it.
Afraid to talk. I'm afraid to really stand out. I'd rather conform.
Wait, you just said that they all have different opinions. What do you mean they're afraid to talk and stand out? They're standing out with their different opinions.
Every atheist has a different definition of what atheism is. It's really just a farce, is it not?
Well, they have different reasons for why they're atheists, but they're not. I don't think they're giving a different definition of what atheism is, because aren't they all saying that atheism is the rejection of a God belief?
See, that's the difference. I understand how people could see religion as bullshit. I definitely see that. I definitely get that. But if you talk about it to a Christian, America or England or India or Africa, you kind of know what you're getting. You say, you know, what is Christianity? Oh, we believe Jesus Christ was the Son of God who died on the cross and for our sins and then rose from the dead. That's what it is. Bam, we get that.
Right, but you're using Christianity, a specific subset of theism. And we just want you to give a definition of theism in general, because if you're talking about atheism, atheism is the rejection of theism or lack of theism. So what you would need to do is give a coherent definition of theism, which is not going to be as clean and cut as your definition of Christianity that you just laid out there. And even that has its flaws, because not every Christian sect believes the same thing. There's Trinitarians, there's Calvinists. They have very different beliefs about the nature of the existence that we live in the world that God created, and the nature of Christ himself. Trinitarians, they'll believe that Jesus was God. There are other sects that don't believe that Jesus was God. There's books that have been completely removed from the Bible that changes the theology whole cloth. So there's a lot of variability here, that, you know, a lot of nuance that you're just skimming over and saying, no, all Christians believe this. That's not the case. It's not the case. Some people, again, believe that Jesus was God. Some people believe he was the Son of God. Some people believe he was the prophet of God. It varied. So let's not oversimplify.
It makes sense to me. But atheism, we have a disbelief in God, yet God is in our vocabulary, and we have to use that word believe all the fucking time. Oh, we believe that science, logic, reason, and math.
We believe those based on evidence, though. What is your evidence for your God?
Used to only give solutions in this universe, and then keep debating, and then you might make a good. Then I usually make a good point using logic, science, or reason that God does exist.
You usually make a good point. I haven't seen you make one yet. I'm waiting. Everything you seem to be like consistently wrong about everything.
And then instead of debate, you say, "Oh, well, you can't really be sure that any of this is real." Okay, that makes sense. So I say, okay, do you believe this reality exists? That's the interesting one. Because they say, yeah. It's like, well, there you go. Good job. Now you believe something. You took a leap of faith that this reality.
Because there's evidence that this reality exists. We can measure it. We can use tools to understand it. We can rationalize what we're seeing and experiencing and independently verifying it. Where can you do that with your God?
Exists, so your math, logic, reason, and science. And saying, well, you can't really be sure because you don't know if any of this exists at all. You can't either. You're taking a leap of faith to believe it does. Otherwise, what are you talking about? You make no sense. Don't use the word God. Don't use the word belief. Take it completely.
Why? Why can't we use the word God and belief? Those are concepts that we can discuss without you policing their usage.
Out of your vocabulary. Because the classical definition of atheism, if you go on Google, is the unbelief of God. What is God?
And there's different, and theists have different definitions of gods too, even within the same sect, even within Christianity. You go into your church on Sunday morning, your idea of what God is going to be different from the idea of what God is from the person sitting right next to you, from your freaking spouse sitting right next to you, from your child, from your grandpa, from your mom, from the priest up on this pulpit. They're all going to have a different concept of what God is and what he means. Yeah, there'll be some that are closer to yours and some that are more different than yours. There's some that think that you can do these rituals to get favors of the gods. There's some that think that deism, where God created the earth and stepped away and never came back. There's a myriad of variety here as to what a God is. So you need to define what your God is when you're having these discussions. That way, you're not letting your opponent say, here's what a God is. You present your God. It's just your claim that your God exists, and then an atheist would tell you why they disbelieve that.
It's like a club of people called atheists that act as a religion.
I wish we were a club. We're always infighting.
But they don't want to be called a religion.
Because we're not a religion. We only just share one belief. I mean, yeah, there are some things that are overarching that kind of tie us together. A lot of us are secularists, that we want a secular society. That could be a position. So you could talk about secularism versus non-secularism. That's a social position that we take, where we could be humanist. which is opposition to theist in the extent that we think that valuing human life is the most important thing, whereas a theist might think that honoring God is the most important thing. So different positions like that. No, not all atheists are humanists. Not all atheists are secularists. But you want to put a blanket over top of all these qualities of the people you're engaging with and say that they're inconsistent because their atheism doesn't encompass these other factors. But other than saying yes or no to do you believe in God, we don't necessarily have an overarching tie to one another.
Because they don't believe anything. You see how it's bullshit? How it makes no sense?
We do believe stuff.
With their own opinions?
Where did you get the idea that atheists don't believe anything? We believe stuff. I believe stuff. Some atheists believe stuff that I don't believe. Some atheists believe in healing crystals, and some atheists believe in UFO abductions, like we just talked about in the beginning of the show. So there's other than just saying that we don't believe your claim of God, we don't have to all have the same homogeneous belief system.
Because atheism, and if this video has not convinced you, I advise you to go talk. I advise atheists to go talk to atheists and figure out these questions for yourself. Because you're gonna have somebody like me talk to 30 of you and say, "What the fuck is this?" I genuinely made my first atheism video because I was genuinely curious about what it is. And like so many things in life, you just and people hold on to these beliefs and they will defend them as much as they can. I believe it was Mark Twain that said, it's easier to convince somebody than it is to, it's easier to fool somebody than to convince them to fool.
Yeah, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. And that was Mark Twain, who was also an atheist and rejected religion, rejected Christianity specifically, and saw it for the scam that it was.
So this label of atheism, it's a mask. It's a charade. It is what it is. Like, go through my comments with other atheists. So, I don't know. It's kind of depressing in a way. And here's the thing. I know atheists are going to comment on this video. Oh, but this was wrong, and this was wrong, and this isn't right, and this is wrong. You're proven absolutely nothing. Fine. Debate me, because I'm done reading your fucking comments. Seriously, you've spent more time commenting on my videos when you could have actually gone out there and like done something productive with your fucking life. And here's the thing. Every time you dislike my video and every time you comment on my video, YouTube sees this as engagement and it pushes my shit. So I guess I really shouldn't be telling you not to do these things. Keep doing it, but I'm done responding because I've spent the last week talking to a lot of atheists.
YouTube sees this as engagement. He's pushing your videos, but somehow you've only managed to garner 7 subscribers. I don't know if the public out there is really digging on your videos too much. Maybe you should adjust your positions.
I don't think it would take a week and 100 conversations to still be confused about what something is. If it takes, well, I still don't know what it is. So if it's taking that long, you think it might not really be a thing, unless I'm just a fucking idiot, and that could be true too.
That could be true too. I don't know. I haven't. You won't talk to me, so I don't know.
You know, I'm definitely not claiming to be a genius. I'm just asking questions and coming to my own conclusions as an individual. Mm-hmm. And the conclusion I have come up with is atheism is just as much as a bucket full of shit as a lot of religions are. So feel free to comment and dislike. But I won't.
Atheism is just the answer to a question, my friend. Just, do you believe in God? Just the answer to that.
Be reading it. And if you want to debate me, just put a simple little comment in there. Yeah, I'll debate you a little bit. Let's see how many of them do. Let's see how many people are willing to show their face. I will be happy if you do. Literally, I will be happy for you as an individual.
Remember this.
Who can strip this identity, this title of what you have called atheism.
All right, so this is one that I did comment on. I said, hi, Bree from HiveScience, trans and atheist, but most importantly, a science enthusiast. I would love to engage with you about several of the topics that you bring up in this video series. Sent you a message on another video. We'll get to that. So we are. This is how engagement starts. I reach out and say, hey, I would love to talk to you, and let them make their cases. So, all right. And I'm just watching the ones that I already.
Hello. So it appears to me that one of the battles going on today in USA is feelings versus the truth.
Oh, this is some Ben Shapiro crap. We might come back to that. I think that's one of his trans videos. Here's his I don't support pride. Trying to find the ones that I commented on. We'll go back and watch these other ones though, because they're pretty short. All those videos are pretty short. I actually had fun engaging with this stuff. I went and watched all the stuff from the last few days. I started watching them this day, so all this came out after I was engaging with them. Let's see, message from my atheist fans.
Fucking stupid. Although I had an invitation to join the Mensa Society, which is required at genius level IQ.
Okay.
So people are calling me dumb and fucking stupid. Although I had an invitation to join the Mensa Society, which is required at genius level IQ, and I don't really brag about that. Maybe I am dumb. Maybe I don't. I actually.
Hey, I was never invited to join Mensa. I do have an IQ. I'm not gonna give my score or anything. I don't think IQs really matter. It's more about how you apply things. IQs, you want to talk about stuff that's bullshit. IQ is generally considered bullshit. But we all have one. We all fall somewhere on that spectrum. But that doesn't mean you can't be wrong about stuff. Someone who has 140 IQ can still be completely wrong about a topic that they don't understand.
I don't think IQ matters that much. I think hard work is much more important if you're looking to become successful. Once you have an IQ of, I don't know, 120, then everything is kind of an even playing field, and nurture takes more say into whether you're successful or not. Anyway,
I don't think it even matters till you get to 120. I think anybody, if you have an IQ over 85, that other than that, you're basically on an even playing field, because IQ is only measuring certain factors of your abilities. So I don't know what practical application it could possibly have. It's also based on archaic ideas about the human mind, and honestly, there's racism tied into IQ test as well. But that's a topic for another day.
Fucking dumb, and I'm so fucking stupid. Why will none of you have a webcam conversation with me and make me look dumb in front of everybody?
I will have a webcam conversation with you. It's been presented to you.
If I'm so fucking dumb and I'm so fucking stupid, why are you wasting and literally using hours of your life to comment on my videos? Why are you even watching my videos? To defend the honor of atheism. Who gives a fuck? You don't believe anything. You certainly don't believe in atheism.
It's not defending the honor of atheism. It's I like engaging with epistemology and understanding people. And when someone like yourself puts out all these opinion pieces, making claims, I want to dig into it and engage with you. I really wanted to talk to you. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to go through your video series and dunk on you and your bad takes. I wanted to have a one-on-one where we talked face to face and discuss the claims that you're making in these videos. I didn't want to just talk and avoid or talk to my audience. I mean, I have an audience out there watching right now, and they would have watched you live too, because there's been so many questions that I've had for you during this that I'm not able to ask because you won't engage.
Because there's nothing to believe. You don't believe in a God. Oh, I'm defending the honor of my disbelief. Yeah, that's fucking great. That makes a lot of sense. What I really think it is, I really think a lot of you...
Nobody's defending the honor of anything. That's such a weird thing that you have. That the only reason we can engage with you is because we're defending the honor of. We just... some of us just want to engage with you. Some of us just like the discussion. You're having a trouble separating attacks on your beliefs to attacks on you.
You are lonely and very unstable people, and you don't have anyone else to fucking talk to. So you're going on YouTube and you're searching like atheist videos.
I don't have anybody else to talk to. Who do you like? There's like 20-some people in my live chat right now. I have plenty of people to talk to. I want to talk to you because you have different beliefs than me.
You find me, and then you're just like, oh, I'm just going to blow up. I'm just going to try to make myself feel a little better, so I'm going to call the guy a fucking idiot and this and that. People think that I'm trying to do this stuff for views. Like, I'm already a fucking millionaire. I created a...
I haven't called you an idiot. You asked, you said maybe you might be an idiot. And I said that's a possibility. It definitely is. That maybe why you're having to struggle to understand what atheism is and what we believe, because it's really just, again, a belief about one thing.
The wedding videography company, I don't need the money. I just, it's fun. I don't really have much to do, so, you know.
Wait a second.
What
was that?
So, you know, I don't know. So, videography company, I don't need the money, this and that. People think that I'm trying to do this stuff for views. Like, I'm already a fucking millionaire. I created a wedding videography company. I don't need the money. I just think it's fun. I don't really have much to do, so.
Oh, you're a millionaire. Why are you delivering pizzas then? You said you were delivering pizzas in an earlier video.
You know, I don't know. So, I don't know. If I'm so dumb and I'm so stupid, I would think an ambassador of atheism would have no problem to have a fucking conversation with me. It's not like I'm going to jump through the computer screen and attack you, you know?
Yeah, you won't have the conversation. This is a farce.
If you don't have a webcam, then go to Best Buy and go fucking buy one. This
I
is so
have a
important. You can
webcam.
drive to
You're
a store
looking
to buy a
at me on it
webcam.
right
And a
now.
tenth of
I'm
the
a
time, it took you
YouTuber.
fucking-
I'm a YouTuber, buddy. You don't have to get me. I don't have to go get a camera. I'm ready to talk right now.
do all of these comments. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, all the people I've communicated with in the comment section are like, I think they're very lonely, very unstable people. I think a lot of them are cowards. I think a lot of them haven't really achieved anything in their life. I think a lot of them are looking to boost their own ego, so they have to put people down. See, I don't have to put any.
You don't have to infer all this stuff about people just because they disagree with you, my friend. People can disagree with you and have a fulfilling life and just want to come on and have these arguments and have these engagements. I like to argue with people on the internet. It's enjoyable to me. I like to stimulate my brain with discourse.
Atheism or atheist down. It's just the fact that the logic really doesn't make sense when you dig deep into it. So again, if I'm wrong about that, talk to me, prove me wrong. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. As far as me being like aggressive or whatever, I've actually never attacked anyone in my entire life. I've defended people from physical altercations, but I'm not. I'm actually a really nice person. You know, I go out into the real world every day and have conversations with strangers about, you know, where they're from and anything
We
like that.
should bully trans people by misgendering them and refusing to address them by the proper pronouns.
So stop being cowards, stop being pussies. And yes, it is true. A definition of a coward is someone who's going to call somebody out and then back down when it doesn't suit, when the other person comes back. It's called a bully. A bully is somebody
Yeah, that's you. And we'll see that here momentarily.
who's going to talk shit. And then as soon as they're given the opportunity to actually do what they want, which is have a conversation, they back up. That is called
That is you. That is what happens with our interaction here. Just wait, everybody.
a coward. That is by definition a coward. If you are one of these people who asked me if I would have a conversation and then said, I don't have a webcam, you are a coward. It's not my problem, it's yours. You're going to have to look at
I said I did have a webcam.
your evidence and say, I fucking back down. I didn't talk to him because I don't have any balls and I don't have a family or a life.
Right. You don't have any family or life, I guess. If that's what you think when someone backs down, then that's what you've done. So are you describing yourself here, my friend?
I haven't had sex in fucking 10 years. Yeah, I mean, that's your problem. It's not mine. Well, you could do something. You could buy a webcam and talk to me. That's it. That's all you have to do.
I have a webcam. I've reached out to you.
You know, I'm actually a pretty nice guy. And although you think I'm fucking dumb, maybe I am. Better for you. It's easier to prove me wrong in front of the whole world. So this is your opportunity. Grow some balls and be a man.
All right. I'm not a man. I'm a woman, but I will talk to you. So initially, I said, this is my first response. This is the very first thing I've said to them. And I went to other videos to try to see if I could, stimulate them to engage with me. All right, I said, I will talk to you. I'm very seasoned in this arena, as you guys know. I'm very experienced at engaging with theists on the internet. I don't think you are dumb. I would be happy to sit down live with you and help you suss out the complex issues that you have brought up in this series. Keep that in mind. I would be happy to sit down live with you and help you suss out the complex issues that you have brought up in this series. The reel at the wheel response, awesome. Message me here on Instagram and we can set something up, and he gives me his Instagram there. Thank you. I just sent my contact information, or sent your contact information to my producer. That's Robbie. When I do engagements, when I have one-on-ones with people, I do that in the pigsty on Math Pig's channel, generally speaking. My channel is not for these engagements, though I will put it up on my channel afterwards. For the live engagement, I'd rather not be back in the back and pulling all the knobs and levers and everything. I'd rather be able to focus on the engagement. So I pass the buck to Robbie, and Robbie's always eager to get new interlocutors to engage on his channel, as anybody who hosts these types of discussions can confirm, that that's what you want. You want new, fresh faces to get bored with the same people over and over again. So I sent the contact information to Robbie. Robbie doesn't have Instagram. So let me read our conversation. I'm going to pull it up on Instagram right now on my phone. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen so that you guys can see. Let me just stop sharing for just a minute here. So so we know what's going on. All right. Well, let's see. If you have to keep saying I'm a nice guy, you're probably not. I agree with that, and he does just keep saying it over and over again. Okay, so here's our conversation on Instagram. Yeah, no, I'm not being disingenuous of reading this word for word. I just don't want to pull up on the screen because it is a private conversation. But now you can see that it's actually what was had it said. Okay, I said my producer doesn't do Instagram. Robbie doesn't do Instagram. He kind of was like, oh, about it. That's okay though, because he's a producer and he's in Northern Ireland, and I don't care. I love Robbie, and that's all right. My producer doesn't do Instagram. Sorry for the inconvenience. He is on board though, on board to produce for us though. Please email Robbie at hogfathermp@gmail.com. He'll set us up. So his response was, your comment on my channel. You commented on my channel. No, this isn't your producer's show. It's mine. He can email me here. He gives his email address. I put a little heart next to him, like, thank you, because if he had just put the email address in the response on there, I never would have messaged him on Instagram in the first place. I would have gave the information to Robbie. Okay, so, and he says, then we can figure out date and time that works for whoever I am speaking with, question mark. And the video will be published on my channel. This is Chris speaking. This is the guy. Will be published on his channel. Thanks, I'll forward it to him, I said. And I don't care if he publishes on his channel, that's fine. We already, my initial message to him was, I would be happy to sit down live with you and help you suss out the complex issues. So it doesn't matter if he wants to publish on his channel, it's going to be live. It's going to be a live discussion. Thank you, I will forward it to him. And then I said, it will be live, it's going to be fun. No, actually, it won't be live, Chris says. Why wouldn't you want to do it live, Chris? What are you afraid is going to happen live that you're not going to be able to backpedal out of? Why don't you want to do this live? I said, oh, why not? No answer. He said, have him email me or her. I asked him, I did just to clarify, because there's a hit a video about being in LA. I wanted to know what time zone he is, because West Coast is a little more difficult for Robbie than East Coast to Central time zone. So I said, you in Cali? Because he had a video about LA. He said, no, actually, he's in the East Coast. He's in North Carolina. 3 hours different, I think. Okay. Then Robbie emailed him. There's more Instagram conversation to come, but let's go into the email real quick, because he did give me permission to read the email out loud here. So where are you at, Robbie? Just a second here. And we are going to, let's see, there's a search. Where are your videos? Where's your? Hold on, give me just a second. I'll have it in just a moment. Sorry. It's important. Maybe it's not. I'll find it just a second. Sorry, I should have this ready. What was his email address? Boom, 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 boom. Interlude. Christopher White. Okay. Christopher White. Oh, dang it. I don't get that many emails. It's kind of annoying that I'm having to dig through here so far back. It's because it takes whatever I open and sticks it in different folders and stuff depending on the engagement. It's kind of silly, but I set my own phone up, so that's my own problem. Come on. Is it Thursday? I'm probably like losing everybody here while I'm looking for this stuff. Hang in there with me because this gets interesting. Yeah, I know it wasn't Wednesday. So hang in there. I'll get right off the screen here because I'm not finding it in there. Those are all from 2020. Where did it get stuck? I'm so annoyed right now that this isn't just popping up for me. It was a freaking email. Oh, it's because it's got unread only. You know what it is? Duh. It's a different email account. I don't know why I'm looking at my main email account when I had it sent to a different one. Apologize. That was my own dumbness. Switch it to that one because I have a professional one too for when I engage with these debate things. Okay, here we go. So, Robbie sent an email. Hi, Christopher. My name is Robbie, Math Pig. HiveScience, Bree, has mentioned the possibility of having a discussion with yourself and asked me to produce it. I've hosted one-on-one discussions and strive to maintain an even platform for all sides. I've had precepts, Trinitarians, Calvinists, Catholics, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, and in person a witch and all the mixtures in between. All voices get heard on my channel. I'm both fair and blunt to both sides. I produce high-quality shows and have mixed audience of all sides and would very much enjoy helping this conversation move forward. Yours sincerely, Robbie. Pretty straightforward. He's going to be producing and hosting while we have the discussion. Basically just managing the stream because I did mention that we will be doing this live. Okay, and then he gives some sent over some of his recent stuff. Christopher wrote, I appreciate it. However, I do not see the need of it. If the other party needs a mediator, then it's not going to happen. But they found my channel and reached out to me. Given that fact, it's going to be done how I see fit. I am perfectly comfortable talking to someone without the need of a third party. They must not be. No, I want to be able to focus on the conversation and not producing the content. I want to be able to focus on you, Christopher, and not focus on producing the stream that we're going to be having a discussion on. Because again, initially you said you were on board with doing it live in the initial comments, as you see. Again, I can reiterate that you said awesome. Message me. when I asked you if you wanted to discuss this live, or I said I would be happy to sit down with you live. You said awesome. So you were on board with it. Now you're not. Thank you for your time and good luck. Yeah, he said that. Then Robbie responded. As I said, I was asked to host, produce, not to mediate, because yeah, I don't need a mediator. Other than if things get like turn to a dumpster fire, someone to mute me or mute him. If that happens, but it starts getting nasty. But yeah, as I said, I was asked to host, produce, not mediate. Giving you a description of my channel platform is fair, and replying with examples as you asked for before you said no is a show of whom the live audience would be. But that's fine. If you're afraid to chat live and prefer to have an offline combo, you can have the opportunity to edit before uploading. That's cool, which is exactly what the problem is that he wants to Matt Powell it and have a conversation with me where he can cut out the parts of what I say that he doesn't like, or things that he can't respond to, questions that he asked, or whatever. But he can edit it to make it look like he came out on top of the discussion. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it live. I don't know what you have to hide or what you're hoping to be able to edit out. HiveScience is offering an open, non-biased platform to have produce a productive conversation. Yeah, Robbie sent, I didn't see that. He did send examples of, oh yeah, so Chris asked for examples and Robbie sent him examples. He sent him different videos of different discussions and debates that he's hosted. So he was like interested until he found out what Robbie's channel was about, I guess, until he found out that, yeah, we actually do know what we're talking about, and we do ask the questions when we have people over in the pigsty. It's not, you don't get kid gloves in the pigsty, if that's what you were expecting. Yeah, and then he says, right, it's not a debate, you are not needed, says Chris. I decide if my producer is needed. You don't dictate how I do my content, Chris. I do. So I have a producer when I have a discussion, because I want somebody to handle the back end technicalities while I don't just vertical video my phone. I actually produce quality content with, direction. It's not just mindless rambling to my phone in my vehicle, all my bad takes about society. I put thought into what I put out. Again, best of luck. On a side note, calling someone afraid is usually not associated with open-mindedness and fair professionalism. Food for thought. But you've been calling everybody cowards all over your video for not wanting to engage with you. But you're turning down this engagement opportunity. All right. Food for thought. Robbie lays into him here after that. But let me go back to Instagram where he okay, so then Thursday morning rolls around. He's like, or Thursday evening rolls around. Definitely not doing the producer thing after watching Robbie's videos of what we do over there and how the engagement would happen. If to have a discussion, I'm more than happy to do it. You and myself. I see no need for a middleman. Robbie's not a middleman. He's just producing. He's not going to be part of the conversation at all. He's not going to put forth any opinions of his own. He stays neutral. That's how Robbie runs his station. That's how the pigsty is operated. So you don't have to worry about him getting involved. He's not a middleman. I also don't view this as a debate, rather a discussion between two peoples. Yeah, I don't want to debate too, though. I don't think that your arguments are ready for debate. Not to say you couldn't get there. You have some groundwork for some standard epistemological arguments, but your personal rhetoric on your epistemology needs some development before we'd have an actual debate. But I'd have a discussion with you. I said, so you're backing out then? That's unfortunate. It's not a debate, it's a discussion. The platform does both. There's no middleman. It's just a platform for discussion. just you and I, and Robbie will strictly be producing and reading audience questions at the end. You can stream it live from your end too, or release it on your channel at your discretion. Either way, I intend to engage with your content, but I'd much rather engage with you directly. Which is what I ended up doing, engaging with the content this way, because he's, as by his own definition, a coward. He defined himself as a coward, not me. I'm not calling you a coward. You called you a coward, Chris. And he said, we can over Zoom. And I said, StreamYard, which is the plan anyway. He's in North Carolina. I don't need his permission to stream it. But he doesn't have to show up. And he can edit it and cut it however he wants, but I will be streaming it live because that's what I do. I'm a content creator, whether it's on my channel or Robbie's channel. I will do it on Robbie's channel if I get a chance. Anyway, I want to read Robbie's last response here because it was so much fun to read over. Food for thought, and this was about him saying that he's afraid of it. Calling someone out when they offer a discussion, saying don't back out. Oh yeah, where's the video where he said that? I think it's one of the more recent ones too. Let's see. Was it this one? Warning.
Hey, how are you? I'm sorry, it's kind of dark here.
No, it wasn't that one. It was one of the older ones. Might have been the trans one. Hold on. Yeah, I think it was. And we will watch that in a second. His take on transgenderism is, here we go. Yeah. All right. A biologist. Actually, I said let me read Robbie's video first, and then Robbie's response first, and then we'll watch the video, and then we'll respond to it. We'll read the response. Because I'm not even, I don't think I'm sharing anymore. Okay. Yeah. Calling someone out when they offer a discussion and saying don't back out, and then getting an opportunity to do that and backing out shows that you were not serious in the first place, afraid. Because he said a coward would back out, would find an excuse to back out in his video, and that's what he did. As soon as he could back out, he did, from having a face-to-face with me. I say it as I see it. Robbie's really blunt like that. HiveScience channel is not based around discussion, and my platform offers an opportunity for both of you to be seen by all sides with live responses and reactions. I offered my channel to facilitate that conversation, not control it. Both you and Bree have the same right to put your opinion across in an unedited format that's statement. I wonder why you say the discussion must be as you see fit. Why must you control how it happens behind the scenes? Yeah, that's where it gets into we have experience, Robbie and myself, and other people in our community as well, with being deceptively or duplicitously edited conversations, and we've learned from that, so we discuss live. That's how we do it. Finally, you are correct. I am not needed in the conversation, but my platform is, if you want people interested in this to see it, and I'll be happy to sit backstage with literally no interaction with your conversation. Again, not mediation. I was asked to host and produce. Again, it will be you and HiveScience by yourself in the Hangout with no interaction by me. He's just going to be hosting. So we pull the levers. He'll do an introduction to what who we are, we're discussing. He'll step out of the conversation and leave you and me to go at it. He will call time when it's time for questions from the live chat. So we have theists in our live chat too. They'll probably find you interesting, Chris. So I don't know why you're backing out of growing your audience via this platform. I'm here to provide an equal platform, not influence the conversation. Yours sincerely, Robbie. That was the last conversation that we had with our friend Chris. He did give me permission and the Instagram there to go over these conversations that we had. So first, let's delve into this this trans video, and then I will respond to, or go over, read our responses down there as well, because there was commentary on this. So sharing, okay, share screen. Here we go. All right, so this is this trans video. This was, I think this might have been the first one I watched.
Hello, YouTube. I thought this was an important video to make because myself and I believe many Americans are facing the similar problem. And the problem is this: it's either tell a lie or lose everything. And let me explain. I have a lot of respect for trans people. I have a lot of respect for individual rights. And
do you though?
I believe anyone and everyone should be allowed to express themselves and to be whoever they want to be. So much so that I'm willing to give up my life for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, just freedom. So I respect trans people. Now,
do you though? Do you respect them? Do you address them in a respectful way? Do you engage with them in a respectful way?
What I'm getting to is, again, a current situation that I believe many Americans are facing. And the situation is this: either tell a lie or lose everything. And let me explain. People are now having individuals in the workplace, trans people, that's okay, who are requesting that they be called by a pronoun that they are not. And
whoa! Why are they not? Why do you decide what other people's pronouns are? That's a weird claim that you're making. What gives you the control over these people to control which pronouns apply to them?
Problem. It's because it is a scientific fact, a scientific reality, that a man can never be a woman and a woman can never be a man.
And yeah, and pronouns and this doesn't have anything to do with a man being a woman or a woman being a man. But I am assuming that you're putting trans women in the category with man and trans men in the category with women, which is the category error that you're making here. So a trans woman will never be a man. No matter how hard I tried, I could never be a man. I had to be a woman because that's what I am. I tried for almost 30 years to be a man. And I failed at every turn because I am not a man, and I'm not good at pretending to be a man. I tried really hard for a long time to do so, to fit in with my maleness, because I am male. I think the difference that the subtlety that you're missing is that male and man are not synonyms. Male is a biological sex. Male is based on your gonads and your gametes, and there's a lot of variety in there. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. Yeah, it's a small percentage of the population that exists inside that wiggle room, but they do. There's an overlap. So there are males like me who are women. So we will never be a man. You are right. As a trans woman, I will never be a man.
It just cannot happen. It's a scientific impossibility that this could never happen.
Well, I don't know what science has to do with this. More of a sociological possibility. Though there is some endocrinological markers that we can detect in the human brain, because you do have, you and I and everybody else, we all have stem cells that were our mommies that went and developed into our brain. So you have very female parts of your brain. I do too, depending on variables, how much of that you have. But yeah, we definitely all have male and female parts to our brain. And there's a difference between male and man. There's a difference between female and woman. I don't think that you pick up on that difference. So yeah, male is again based on mostly gametes and gonads, whereas gender, man and woman, are mostly based on your psychological position in society, where you feel that you belong socially, where you feel you belong psychologically, emotionally, and mentally. This is detectable. There is science behind this. This is medical science that you're in denial about.
This is a truth. Biologists do not debate this. It is just a fad, I believe, in society. But
biologists don't debate this, right? They disagree with you. Biologists don't agree with you, Chris, because you are conflating two separate aspects of human development, how we develop, how our brains develop. So Oh, I got a pinned message up on the screen. Thank you, Amanda. I get because I only have this one monitor, so I'm not able to see what's pulled up on the screen. I did not mean to leave that pulled up there. Sorry. Where is it? There you go. Okay, back to the conversation.
What I'm getting at is this fad has led over into...
It's not a fad, it's medical science. Again, fads are not medical science. Fads, you don't go to the doctor and they do an evaluation and examination of you and come to the determination. But you are a medical science denier, as I understand from your ADHD video that you have and depression video that you've released down below here too. If you haven't watched those, I'm not going to review those here. Maybe at a different point, but this guy also denies the existence of several other psychological and emotional phenomena that is known to medical science and is not speculative at all. He's just in total denial of it because he knows better than psychologists, psychiatrists, and other experts in the field.
Harming people's lives, not just trans people, but people like myself. So I'm put in a position in this.
So it's harming your life to ask you to call a woman she because she's a trans woman, because you demand the right to call her he. I could demand the right to call you she on the same grounds. I won't do that because I'm not a garbage person. If you want to be called he, well, you've never. So let's before we move forward. You've never. I'm assuming. You correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. You've never had your karyotype checked, so you don't know whether you're XY, XX, XXY. You don't know what your chromosomes are, whether those correspond with your assigned sex at birth. So you don't know that whether or not you have male chromosomes. You don't know if you don't even know if you have a Y chromosome at all. You don't know, but we take your word for it. We take the doctor's word for it when you were born that yes, this is a male baby. So we're gonna infer that they're gonna conform to that gender as well when they develop, and we're gonna call them he, him. And as you develop, yeah, you fell into line with that. But you might have some situation come up where you have to go get your karyotype checked, and you might come back with some chromosomes that surprise you and no, I'm not saying at that point you find out you don't have a Y chromosome. I'm not going to start calling you she, her, because you identify as he, him. Okay, even though your chromosomes and your gonads are the same. From what I understand from watching your videos, you don't have any children, so we don't even know if your testicles are actually ovaries unless you've had them checked. Have you had your testicles checked to make sure that you didn't actually develop with ovaries? So you might not even be producing sperm. You might be producing eggs, and you might have an XX karyotype. That might be the case for you, Chris, but otherwise everything else developed as male. Now, if that was the case, if you have ovaries instead of testicles, if you have XX chromosomes, I am not going to say, no, I demand the right to call you she, her, Chris, because I'm not going to do that to you. You are a he, him, because that's where your brain tells you you are. Your brain tells you you're he, him. So you go with that, even though you've never had any of that stuff tested to prove it. Same with me. I've never had any of that testing done either. I do know my testicles produced sperm before my vasectomy, of course, because I have 3 children. So I know that that's the case. But that's my gonads. I don't know about my chromosomes. I don't know about the neurons in my brain that are telling my hormones or tell my body what hormones to produce. I don't know if those are male or female because that is a lot of variability in there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this excellent doctor called Dr. Sapolsky. But you go check out what Sapolsky's saying about this. He's a neuroendocrinologist, so brain hormones is what he specializes in, and he doesn't agree with you, Chris. He's Stanford College. It's there's a lot of variety here that you're refusing to acknowledge, even though you don't know what another person's biological sex is. You don't even know that based on looking at them. You're inferring that. by what they're expressing and showing you.
A situation where if I'm not willing to cater towards this person's feelings and lie to them, and more importantly, lie to myself, then I would lose my job.
It's a lie if you pretend to know what their gametes are. It's a lie if you pretend to know what their chromosomes are, what their karyotype is. It's a lie if you pretend to have any knowledge about their gonads at all. That's the lie. So what you have to do from that point is just accept what people are presenting to you, you can go with what their body's developing too, but it's more important to go with what they're presenting to you, because there's a lot of conditions that will cause someone to develop characteristics that go against their gender, not even necessarily having an effect on their psychology. Just people have hormonal imbalances that cause them to develop breast as a male, or to develop we talk about the pseudo penis that can sometimes develop in a woman with too much testosterone or methyl testosterone. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. It's one of those. Anyway.
I would lose my livelihood. I would not be able to pay rent. I would not be able to put food on the table for my wife or my little dog over here. And I would lose everything because I'm not willing to tell a lie.
You're not telling a lie. What's the lie is when you insist on misgendering someone based on your inferences instead of what they present to you, because your inferences are just that, you inferring what you can understand about another person without any scientific basis at all. You're just jumping to the conclusion that this person is male, or he or him, or female, or she or her. You're inferring that, and inferring that those things are aligned, that they're cis, that everybody's gender has to be cis, that it has to match their biological sex. That's not the case. That's why trans exists. Trans, by definition, means that your gender doesn't match your biological sex.
Willing to lie to myself. So I believe a lot of individuals are facing this current situation. And I want to say this to some of the influencers and some people on YouTube. It's
actually the only influencers and people on YouTube are the people in your court. The rest of us are just adhering to the current scientific understanding. So this isn't. It's your message, your political message of your freedoms and rights against the scientific understanding of gender and sexuality.
Point. Business and a business mindset doesn't always work, and it doesn't always work in your favor. What I mean is, some people are trying to play this straight down the line, where they're against what's happening today, or they don't know about it, but they won't really speak on it because they don't want to lose anyone in the trans audience.
It's not against what's happening today. It's that people just are refusing to move forward with society with new evidence. That's your position, that we have new evidence about gender and sexuality and the way that these things relate, and the nature of human development and sexual development and psychology. And you are taking all this new information, saying, I don't like that. I'm going to continue to use archaic terminology, definitions, and classifications, and you can't make me update to adhere to the new sciences. And that's right, we can, but we can call you a Luddite for rejecting new information. And if you don't know what a Luddite is, during right before the Industrial Revolution, the kind of flagship was the printing press, and the Luddites were people who hand copied, or there's an industry of folks who wanted documents to be hand copied. The printing press was the devil. New technology and moving forward was the devil. So new science was a problem for these people, and you are the Luddite here. You are taking new science, new understandings, completely new fields of medical science, and you're just ignoring them or discounting them and dismissing them based on your own personal incredulity because you don't understand it.
But they're also a little edgy, so they're trying to get conservative.
And just to be clear, trans people aren't something new. Trans people have always been here. Just previously, you had ascribed us with mental disorders, much like they did with homosexuals, that you have mischaracterized us in such a way to say that it's an mental illness and that there's no science behind it. And as we move forward, we're finding all kinds of science behind it, all sorts of subtlety in our development that wasn't known about before, even 15 years ago. So we're moving forward with this. That this is a reality of our existence. It's not a fad. It's something that's happened. It's a discovery in the medical field and something that we're exploring.
State to conservative, they're playing to both sides of the fence, and you know, if people want to do that, they can. But what's going to happen is you're perpetuating the problem, and if you don't really say what you believe and stand up for what you believe in, people's lives are going to be ruined. We are currently in a situation where if you're not willing to lie, you're going to be canceled, and you're going to be an out.
You're going to be canceled for. So if I decided that I don't care what you say you are, I think you have 2 X chromosomes. I don't know, something about your jawline. So I'm going to clock you. I'm going to clock you and pretend that I think, based on your appearance, that you are actually a trans man. Okay? You tell me you're male, you have male gametes, whatever. I just decided, no, obviously you were born assigned female at birth, and you're a trans woman. Okay? Just based on. And I'm not serious about this in any way, shape, or form, but just based on physical characteristics about you. Okay, your soft-spoken voice, your narrow jaw. I'm going to decide that I think that you were assigned female at birth. So I'm going to decide to start calling you she, her moving forward. Now, if I were to do something like that, I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm not an asshole. But if I do, you are wanting to fight for my right to do so, for my right to assume, based on me clocking, me observing you and deciding that you are actually a trans man, that you were assigned female at birth. You want to fight for my rights to continue to misgender you in that way. I don't understand your position here, Chris. Why would you fight for the ability to bully someone? I get you're a freedom of speech person, but yeah, most workplaces don't approve of bullying. So if one of your coworkers decided that they think that you were assigned female at birth and they're going to call you she, her, are you going to report that? Are you going to complain to your supervisor about that? Are you going to have them refer to you as a woman, as she, her, in meetings when you're in a Zoom call with your boss and all your coworkers, and someone in the group continuously calls you she, her? Do you not want them to get reprimanded for that? What is your position here, Chris?
Outcast, and you're going to be crucified for telling the truth, a scientific, biological truth.
There's not a scientific, biological truth. You're wrong about that. There is science behind transgenderism. There is evidence of that. It is factual medical conditions and states of being that we have as humans, and the variety in our sexuality and our gender expression. That's science. You are in denial about that. It is a lie on your part to say that that doesn't exist.
I'm not even talking about religious beliefs here. I'm talking about a reality. So I want to
right. So like the reality, again, we don't know that you were born again without that testicles, that you have, that you might have ovaries down there. You haven't produced any offspring. There's evidence that you might have ovaries. So, are you in denial about that? I mean, right now, what evidence we have, we can't really assign you either gender. So so far I've gone with what you told me, that you're a he, him. What I see when your engagements and your comments, that you are a he, him. I'm going with that because you told me that. I have no evidence of that. I do have evidence that you might be a trans man. I do have things that I could say about you that say, and I'm not going to say that they have only water or clocking is valid at all. That's the problem that we're facing here. That's the problem. This is the conversation I really wanted to have with you face to face, Chris. Was that there's no reason for me to assume that you are assigned male at birth and expressing it's male now, other than your word. Similar to if I hadn't told you anything about myself, there's no proof on your end that I was assigned male at birth, or that I have testicles. I mean, obviously, I gave you evidence that you talked about having kids and stuff. I'm not in the closet about or in denial about the fact that I was assigned male at birth, but I am definitely a woman. Everything about me, everything about my personality is a woman. It always has been. And it was a struggle to pretend to be male and express maleness. So, yeah.
Rehash all this. Trans people, this is not an attack at you.
It really is. This was not even an attack. It's you explaining how you don't understand what trans means. and what in the science behind it. That's what this video is.
Do what you want, live your life how I want. I have full respect for you. You can live your life. It just gets to a point where I'm not willing to lie to myself, lie to another person, and lie to people around me. And I think what's happening.
What is the lie, though? I think the lie would be for you to say that I'm a man. That would be a lie, because everything I'm expressing, everything about my character is female. So it would be a lie for you to say that I'm a man. That would be the lie. So are you saying that you won't misgender me? That you will look at me and say, yes, that's a she? Like I look at you and say, yep, that's a he. I don't do that based on anything about you. I do that based on what you want to be addressed as, which I'm inferring from from outside sources. I don't think you're giving other people that charity. I don't think you're being charitable like that. I don't think you're allowing them. It sounds like you're just arguing for the rights to misgender people based on your own inferences about their appearance.
Here is that, I put my line in the sand. I have to die with my dignity. So whatever happens with these videos happens. But it's a really unfortunate thing that's happening, and it's not fair for so many people.
Okay, so that was his trans video, and there are some comments here. So I commented on this. Let's see. Basically the same stuff I whined about during the video. I said, biologists actually don't agree with your man and woman don't agree with you. Man and woman are in no way biological categories unless you mean man as in our species, man, like where's the other species name? Because man and woman are not, you look like a cladogram, you look at anything dealing with biology, they're not going to say man and woman, they're going to say male and female. Because those are the biological categories I think that you mean. Science is not with you on this topic. There's no field of biology that agrees with you on this. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you about this. The ignorance you are spreading is dangerous, but it seems to spread from not understanding the topic. We can fix that. Then he says, I'd love to have a webcam convo with you and put it online. No, you wouldn't. You backed out of that as soon as the opportunity arose. Tell me what you need to make it happen. An online webcam convo? Yes, you're going to do an online convo. That was my plan. I have a webcam. Please don't be a coward, by definition, who retracts the offer. So this is where Chris defines himself as a coward, because he retracted the offer. If you don't own a webcam, buy one. I'll pay you back. I do own a webcam. I actually own a couple of webcams. This one's the better one now. So yeah. Let's see here. I said, absolutely not. I am stoked to talk to you. You seem approachable, much more so than the theist I usually deal with. And of course, you all know who I was thinking about when I said that. Our conversation could be enriching for everyone. We can talk about cosmology, biology, gender versus sex. In any case, there's some philosophy that's going to have to be discussed for sure. I can't wait. And that is where he decided that he is a coward. So this is him saying he's a coward. Okay. And then we had
So people are calling me dumb and fucking.
Yeah, this is the one. Here we go. I've offered you a platform live in public to have this discussion with me regarding this video series. While you initially accepted this invitation, you have since backed out. It seems you are not as confident in your rhetoric as you would have us believe when you're talking into the void. Post emails and DMs, let the people decide. I did post emails and DMs, let the people decide. I did have your permission. So there we are on that, where he permitted me to do that. What do you guys think? Did he back out in a cowardly fashion? Is that what happened? No religious trolls here yet. No, not yet. But he does have some new videos out. So there's just a couple here. come out recently. Oh wow, he's yeah, all these have come out in the last 24 hours. Let's watch this new one. This will be my
Hey YouTubes, how we doing today? How's your mom doing? Haven't heard from her in a while. No, I'm kidding. If you're new to my channel, I just wanted to say thank you for being here. My name is Christopher, and yeah, I call Real Behind the Wheel. I just talk about random shit pretty much. In this video, I want to talk about my experience making atheist videos on YouTube. So I'll go back from the beginning. I'll try to make it kind of quick, but I'll do the best I can. So I started off a mission. A goal was to make 1,000 videos and just see what happens. So obviously 1,000 videos is like 3 a day, pretty much. So you have to just whatever I wanted to make a video about, I would. So I made a video about atheism and how the logic didn't fully make sense to me, and it still doesn't. So I posted videos like this, and then after doing such, I started getting weird comments. You know, I started being just for questioning the logic. You know, I thought atheism, of all things, was a place to test hypotheses and talk about evidence and logic and reason to prove things. So I made videos talking about how the logic of atheism didn't make sense to me, and I just started getting called names, and I started getting threats, like names.
I haven't seen any of that in the comment section. I did see a lot of people engaging with you, saying, "Hey, your epistemology is wrong. Hey, your vocabulary is wrong that you're using, the language that you're using here. You're not looking at this the right way." I didn't see. You have claimed that people were calling you a white nationalist and a Nazi. You are a bigot. I mean, by definition, you're bigoted against the trans and gay community. And there is a video on his stream about pride too, where he lays into the gay community. I haven't seen anything racist though, so I don't think anybody calling you a white nationalist, at least not with the information I've seen so far, would be appropriate. I don't think you're a white nationalist. I don't think you're a Nazi. Unless you're calling for the execution of gay people, but you haven't done that.
It's like a white supremacist, you know. People call me a fucking Nazi for questioning atheism. People call me a racist for questioning atheism. Like because I question atheism, I must not like black people, or I must not like brown people.
I didn't see that.
And that's really what did it to me. For me, you know, I asked people, "Hey, we can have a webcam conversation. You want to talk to me?" Crickets. Nobody ever. People reply, but they.
Bull! You liar! This is a lie right here. He just released this like 45 minutes ago. This is like brand new. Full stop lie right now. The crickets. No, I reached out to you. We had email correspondences. I've showed the receipts. You cannot sell this lie.
Try to get me to do conversations on someone else's channel, like a third party.
Oh.
To do conversations on someone else's. Oh. Like because I question atheism, I must not like black people. Talks about me here. Or I must not like brown people. And that's really what did it to me. For me, you know, I asked people, "Hey, we can have a webcam conversation. You want to talk to me?" Crickets. Nobody ever. People reply, but they try to get me to do conversations on someone else's channel, like a third party. Turns out there's like this scam on YouTube where people try to match people up with conversations and do it on their channel and get views on the back end. It's a nice little scheme, but
it's not a scam. That's how conversations happen. What?
Ultimately, I have my own platform. I don't need to do that.
It's, dude. Yeah, people don't. No one's just going to want to come on and just give you content. No, it's a give and take to have conversations, my friend. And having a neutral platform is super important. Having it on your channel, having it on my channel would not be a neutral platform. You are a coward, Chris. You are absolute coward.
So nobody would talk to me, and I started being called a fucking racist and a Nazi.
No, not a racist or a Nazi, just a coward by your own definition.
Threats, you know, the worst shit you could say to somebody, pretty much, for questioning atheism. And I realized that if you're going to be attacked and called a Nazi and a racist and a white supremacist and a fucking Trump-supporting nationalist, although Trump has nothing to do with atheism, nor does race or Nazis for that matter.
I haven't brought up any of that stuff. I want to talk to you. I just want to talk on a neutral platform. I'm not going to come on your channel and let you do a pre-recorded video that you can edit me any way you want. No, we're going to talk publicly and live. That's the way that these conversations happen. I get that you're new to this this community and the way that this happens. This is not a scam. This is just how we have these conversations. That is what the skeptical atheist community does. That's what the theist community does. This isn't unique to atheism. I go on other channels all the time that are Christian channels. I go on Bread of Life. I go on to Evidence and Reason, Sal Cordova's channel. I'm not trying to scam you. This is how we have these conversations. And Sal's a professional. I mean, he works in the field. Rebecca is an amazing communicator, and I love talking to her. We can talk to you too. If you want to do it on a Christian platform that's going to be neutral, that's fine. I'll talk to Rebecca about it. I will talk to Sal about it. I'm sure they'd be happy to host it. I want MathPig to host it because he's more neutral, because he's agnostic, so he doesn't hold an atheist or a theistic position. I think that's more neutral. But if you're scared enough that you need a Christian platform to host it, it's not going to be yours, my friend. You can re-upload it onto yours, but the conversation in whole is going to be public. I'm not going to allow you to misrepresent me. And it's not anything against you. This is against other apologists that we've engaged with in the community. Again, like I said earlier in the video, we have people who will actually do this, who will have a conversation with you and then cut it up to make you look like an idiot. You or me. I wouldn't do that to you. I don't know if you would do that to me or not. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, please look into Matt Powell or Ray Comfort, because both those individuals have done that to my friends multiple times who agreed to the one-on-one pre-recorded conversations that you're proposing. So there's a precedent to avoid that and to do these things live. And I don't want to produce my own live content while I'm having the conversation. I'm sorry, that's not the way I roll.
I thought, man, if this is what you're called for questioning atheism, at least on YouTube, then this is by definition a cult. You know, a cult is anything that you're attacked for questioning. So
no, it's not. Cults are have a very strict definition. I encourage you to look up the bite model for cults. Let me see if I get a. Okay, so bite model, pulling that up now. Combating cult mind control. Okay, so the bite model, Hassan's 4 components of mind control are behavior, information, thought, and emotion. So that's what a cult is going to try to control. And try to control your behavior. Again, atheists, we aren't controlling anybody's behavior because we all just answer the same one question the same. So not a cult. Information control. I guess if you consider requiring evidence in order to accept information as information control, possibly. Thought control. Now, there are different subgroups within the atheist community that you may say have thought control or say, hey, you can't have these opinions or what have you, but not true at all. Look at someone like David Silverman, who's absolutely an atheist and probably has more in common with you in the rest of his ideology than he does with me. But we're both in the same category as atheists because we answer that one question the same. And emotion. Emotion is what you're actually appealing to when you make your trans videos. So I don't see any reason why you would say that we're in a cult.
That's when I realized, like, yeah, a lot of these people are unstable, and it's kind of like a cult if you're going to be called a Nazi and a racist. Imagine.
I didn't see anybody calling you a Nazi or a racist. I'm not saying you're a liar, but I didn't see that. Most of the engagements I saw were people addressing your bad epistemology and your misunderstanding of these concepts. It's not, no one's, I'm not saying no one's saying that to you. I'm sure there are jerks out there who are. I'm calling you a coward because how you defined a coward, you described yourself and what you did to my offer to engage with you.
People call you a racist for questioning atheism. It's like, okay, I'm going to question Christianity, and then somebody calls you a racist. Like, I've never experienced that. I don't know. So, to any atheists out there, I want to tell you what is inevitable and what's going to happen. So, like every cult since the beginning of time, it implodes from the inside. See, there's only so many.
No, your cult's still going strong, and it's been going strong for like 2,000 years. So your cult is good, and it hasn't imploded. Yeah.
People you can call a racist. There's only so many people you can call a Nazi. There's only so many people you can make threats up to for questioning the logic of something.
What threats? I can only discuss our engagement, but all I saw, there was no threats. It was me being friendly and you being a coward. I'm not the person calling you a Nazi and stuff. So, but you mentioned me specifically, or my reaching out to you specifically there.
And what's going to happen is everyone's going to point fingers, and then they're going to start pointing fingers at you. And you might start pointing fingers at, no, you were a Nazi the whole time. Oh, you're the racist. You guys are going to point fingers, and it's going to be it's going to be public humiliation because everyone's going to be able to see it. And some of you are going to go. We're
already there. There's already people. It's like, oh yeah, there's people in the atheist community that are anti-trans like yourself that cause divides, because we're not a monolith. We're just people who happen to answer one question the same.
Back and try to delete comments of my videos where you call me a fucking Nazi and a racist because I question atheism, and that's going to be the end of it. Like, and this is not my opinion. This is going to happen. Like every cult since the beginning of time. So to any atheist who you know, puts an
We're not a cult, though. We're just answering one question the same way.
Puts a value into something like morality and dignity, then you have a choice. You can start to distance yourself from this thing called atheism on YouTube, from this cult, at least on YouTube, which it is. I don't know. And maybe take a few bumps and bruises on.
No, it's not a cult. It doesn't meet any of the criteria of a cult. We just looked at the bite model. I just went over what the bite model entails, and we do not exist in a cult. Again, bite model, behavior. Destructive cults can control behavior by manipulating the exterior environment, such as asking members to live in a commune together and keep members busy. By scheduling their day, cults can also induce sleep deprivation, another form of behavior control. Information control. Cults control information to rob people of the ability to make informed decisions. Cults may do this by keeping members on communes or cult property far away from outside influences. Thought control involves members internalizing cult doctrine. Cult doctrines are often absolute, making all issues two-sided with no room for nuance. Good things are things the cult leader does and believes. Bad things are what I think there's a typo there. What outsiders do and think. Emotion. Fear exploits feelings of contentedness and guilt and fear to maintain emotional control. By narrowing the range of emotions, Hassan describes how cults can condition people to stay by making them feel wonderful when they are being obedient and guilty or scared when they make a mistake. So this sounds more like Christianity to me than atheism. Yeah.
The way out, but at least you get out before it totally implodes, before these people just start. I mean, I don't know. You imagine this, where you question something and somebody calls you something as serious as racist. Like, people must not know the severity of that word to just throw it around. Like, I'm around black people all fucking day, about 40 hours a week. When I'm not with black people, I'm with my wife, who's not even from this country, who's not a Caucasian woman. So it's horrific, it's vile, and it's disgusting to question atheism and be called a racist. Anyway, if I were...
I would like to see where you were called a racist, or what claim that you made that they were saying was a racist claim, because it's just assuming where is that coming from? I didn't see it in the comments, so you have to clarify.
And I had a heart and I had a mind. I would start dismissing myself and distancing myself from this thing called atheism, at least on YouTube. And ultimately, it's your choice. I'm just letting you know what a kind of objective perspective I have. I kind of dip my foot into that sphere on YouTube. Thought, okay, these are a bunch of unstable people who, when any of their beliefs or non-beliefs and disbeliefs are questioned, they attack with words like racism and Nazi and white supremacist and all this shit. So, it's your choice. You distance yourself now and kind of limit the severity of the damage that's going to happen to these people, or you can, ride it out to the end. I guess there's some dignity in that, but at the end of the day, you really want to be a part of a hate group, because that's what this is. It's a hate group. It's people that just you hate if you disagree with their ideas. If you disagree with their ideas, you must be a Nazi. You must be a racist. So, I don't know. I just thought I would share that.
How we're not a group, though. It's again, we're just a selection of people who answered the same question or one question the same way. We're not a monolith. We're not an organization. There are atheist organizations, but we're definitely not a hate group. What if we're a hate group? What are we a hate group against? We're not organized against anybody. Anyway, that's his.
And thank you for stopping by my channel, and have a great day. Hey, YouTube's.
That's his most recent video. So anyway, that was Real at the Wheel. 7 subscribers, not doing great, but one of his videos he did advise that when he's driving around like this, he's delivering pizzas, even though he's a millionaire, because he said that in another video that he's a millionaire and that he because of his wedding video production, which is what his Instagram that he provided me was it's for his wedding production company, but maybe successful. I don't know. I'm not shaming anybody about their line of work. I've worked in food services before. Spent quite a lot of time in food services. I've talked a bit about my factory years. I spent over a decade. I think it was 12 years working in factories. Yeah, from age 18 to about 30, 32. Anyway, so I'm not shaming anybody for their work experience, for the lived experience. I don't have any personal issues with that. But when you want to go and attack other people's credulity, you need to kind of present the case of why your position is correct. And I haven't heard that at all from Wheel at the Wheel. So maybe in the future we will have those. Maybe Wheel at the Wheel will respond to this, and we can delve into it back and forth, since he's afraid to again afraid because he's a coward to engage with me directly. And I will keep calling you a coward because that was your definition, that someone who says they're ready to engage, have the equipment to engage, backs out. Yeah, Pale Blue Mama will be in Skeptic Havens in a little bit, so go check that out. We're about to wrap up here. This has been the longest Life in Hive I've done in quite a while. I did have that link to my list though that someone was asking for earlier. Where is it? Your list. Baby registry, wedding registry. I don't have either of those. Where is my actual list that I made? There's my buy it again and deal some freaking blah blah blah. Here we are. All right, dropping this in the live chat. If anybody's interested, as soon as the live chat catches up anyway. There we go. Okay, so that's that. The last thing that I have to talk about is something that is just going to be our little HiveScience news piece. Just something kind of fun. Where did it go? All right, this is getting annoying. All the stuff I had saved got closed, and that's all right. I will relaunch it this way. We are Here we are. This is from TikTok, but it popped up on Reddit, so.
This experiment started off by taking DNA from one of my pet spiders and splicing it together with DNA from a caterpillar. I took their samples to my homemade laboratory where I spliced them together and fertilized eggs. And once they hatched, they were some of the craziest creatures I've ever seen. You're looking at the world's first spider pillar. It's half caterpillar and half spider. As you can see, it's retained its spider-like legs, but still has the body of a caterpillar. I've made about 1,000 of them and let many of them go into the wild. Thanks for watching.
So, yes, Critical Cupcake, my dear sweet Critical Cupcake, sent me that video, and they are some interesting looking creatures that he's spliced together, right? These are really weird. They got these wild-looking spider legs in the front, but definitely they have pseudopods back here, which are fake feet that caterpillars have. So this is definitely a caterpillar. They have these weird arms up in the front, and there's a couple different angles of them. They look quite bizarre. When I first saw this, I was like, what the hell? Because this was actually
half caterpillar and half spider. As you can
new
see,
to me.
it's retained its spider-like legs, but still has the body of a caterpillar. I've made about 1,000
But Bree, but HiveScience, Bumblebee, we don't just take this stuff on face value. We don't just roll with it. We actually require a little bit of investigation. That's what we require, because we're not just stumbling around in the dark, are we? We are actively dismissing these wild claims. So what I did was did a little bit of investigation on why this creature looks the way it does, and it is something called a lobster moth caterpillar, and they are super unique. The moths, let me show you some different images of them. They are super unique looking. Now, and I think they're cool. Some people might think they're creepy, but to each their own, of course. But have a look. These are the lobster moth caterpillar. This is what the moth looks like when it gets all grown up. But yeah, they are alien looking and bizarre, and I might be interested in raising some of these little guys because they're kind of cool looking and cute. They have a little bit of a mantis quality to the way they stand and the way they curl their back end up like a mantis. And maybe they are trying to mimic, maybe they are a spider mimic and saying, hey, don't mess with me, I'm a scary spider. This one here reminds me of my ghost mantises and how they stand, and the coloration too. Anyway, so yeah, if you see that video around about old boy splicing together two different species of, or two different organisms, because when it comes to arachnids and lepidopterans, we are talking completely separate classes of life. So yeah, they are not going to be compatible. So yeah, well, that's that. So that is our live from the hive today. Let's see, we had some alien implants early this morning. We had this wild ride with Reel behind the wheel, or Reel at the wheel. And then, of course, we had these alien creatures. This is a super long episode of Live from the Hive, 3 hours and 13 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up now. Please remember to be kind, take care, and I will see you next week.